We are live. Let me just tweet this live stream out. But yeah, I wanted to do a live stream tonight just to sort of celebrate getting 6,000 subs finally. It took a while, but also if you're watching this later, I just wanted to stream today because I missed last Sunday and I can't do tomorrow, so I've moved it to tonight. And I know Saturday's not the best day for it because people have to do things on Saturday. Most people are free on Sunday to watch this type of thing, but yeah, let's get started. Let me just tweet out the link to the live stream, and then I'll concentrate. So come join the live stream now. But yeah, it's weird. Hi Kennedy, thanks for joining. Yeah, but it's been weird. It's been weird but good getting 6,000 so quickly after getting 5,000. Because about 2 months ago I was still on 4,300 or something. So it's been nice to boost my subs, and it's nice to get like people I recognise constantly tuning into the streams and stuff. So it's good to have a conversation with all these people. The views on my channel, yeah, Jordan, I do normally do Sundays, but I'm busy tomorrow, so I can't do it. Can't do it tomorrow, so I'm doing it tonight. Wait, I thought my picture for the stream was a nice 6,000. Oh, it is. Sorry, just checking stuff. Nice, yeah. So I was also on another channel's video lately called The Surfs, but I read like one line at the end. It's a pretty good video though. It was on Steven Crowder. They make really high quality content actually. It's pretty impressive. And they've obviously blown up because their Twitter was banned. Because they got brigaded. Their Twitter? Was it their Twitter? No, it was their YouTube was banned because they got brigaded by Nazis. And they went on all the channels and they've gotten really big now. But yeah, they had me on. And I think I'm going to do a live stream with them at some point. They're nice guys though, like supporting everyone. They've got a lot of people coming on their channel actually. But yeah, tonight I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. Like stuff I've been talking about lately. Theresa May resigned, which was good. You know, I made a video about it yesterday. But like you guys have with Trump in America, we could get someone worse than Theresa May. So that's what everyone's worried about at the moment. Because Boris Johnson, or I don't know, Javid, or some other people like that, yeah, they're going to be worse than May. So, one second, let me just Instagram the stream. Streaming. What do people think about Trump maybe pardoning that war criminal? Isn't it so insane? Like I read what that guy did to like civilians and stuff. Hi John, thanks for joining the stream. Thanks a lot. It's been good. I appreciate your support especially because I know you comment a lot on my videos. Always have something good to say. And yeah, just cheers for the support and cheers for watching my stuff. But yeah, I kind of always want to say something snarky with this American stuff. In like, well, of course, they're pardoning a war criminal. They gave like George Bush Jr. a freedom medal. Like Obama gave him one, and arguably he's a war criminal. Like most presidents are war criminals at the end of the day, aren't they? Because all the shit most American presidents do, you could classify as war crimes, especially Bush lying about all this stuff. But let's really hope Trump doesn't go to war with Iran or anything like that because Iraq was so bad, and who suffers with all this US stuff in the end? Like a lot of the time Europeans suffer, like all this terrorism. Like okay, fair enough 9/11, but that was the start of it. Like has there been like a major Islamic attack like in the US, San Bernardino, but that really wasn't a proper ISIS thing, was it? So like in Europe you have the Paris stuff, the Nice stuff, you have the London stuff multiple times. Who pays the price for all these like interventions in the US? And wasn't it? I read somewhere like last year, the Trump administration accepted like 10 Syrian refugees or something crazy, like not even taking their share of the burden, and they do all this shit to all these countries. Like it's so crazy. Well, Iran does support the jihadis, but Iran does not support a lot of obviously Wahhabists, which are the main groups of terrorists. But Iran support Hamas, Iran support Hezbollah. There's loads of Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. There's lots of Iranian-backed militias in Afghanistan or in Syria. So Iran sponsors terrorism. There's no doubt about that. But the argument of what they sponsor a lot of the time isn't like legit. So, for example, the Iraqi government not sponsored, they legalized a lot of these militias. So they're legal entities, a lot of them, but the US say they're terrorist groups. So Kennedy says, a wise man once said the chickens have come home to roost. Yeah, I guess. But like at the same time, you know, the stuff the US does normally backfires on everyone else apart from the US because you know they're so far away from all these countries that they do all this shit to. Yeah, but Hezbollah it was created by Iran, and you know you have the Lebanese army as well, so they are like a militant jihadi group. My niece made me play Barbies. I hate little kids. That's why I love video games now. I just play video games with little kids instead of playing like dress up or dolls and stuff. But yeah, you know, this Iran shit is so crazy. And I don't know if anyone saw the US Army post that thing on Twitter. I might make a video about it. It's pretty funny. They said, "How has serving impacted you?" And thought everyone would give them like really nice responses and everything. And then everyone was just commenting, "I have PTSD. Like I'm an alcoholic. Like it ruined my dad's life. You know, my friends killed themselves." It had the complete opposite effect. And it's just crazy to me how, you know, obviously a lot of countries like the UK and France fight in these imperialist wars as well. And, but the way the US treats the veterans is so much worse, it seems. Because just like basically use them for the most horrible wars and then discard them, like Vietnam and Iraq comes to mind in particular. I doubt I doubt Iran would be any different if it happened. The US sponsors far worse terrorists than Iran. Well, yeah, the US sponsors or backs way worse people than Iran, whether that's the Saudis, literally every dictator in the Cold War, fascist dictators in Latin America or fascist dictators in Europe, like Franco. You know, they made a good deal with Franco to stay out of World War Two as well. Yeah, Iran would be way worse than Iraq, but also because Iranian army is way better than Iraq's army under Saddam Hussein in 2003, because Saddam Hussein's like, well, it wasn't like a great army, but it was the fourth biggest army in the world in 1991, and it was decimated by you know the Western forces. So, you know, Iran's way stronger than Saddam Hussein was in 2003, so it's going to be a lot worse. And you know, you'll see what happens with Iran's allies, because you know you'd say Iran is more friendly with like North Korea, China, and Russia than Saddam Hussein was. So, you know, the reaction to that in the international community is going to be weird. But it's just crazy, isn't it? Like, it's so depressing that people are such fucking idiots. I want to make a video. No, that's one thing Rational was. The US did not arm bin Laden or train bin Laden. That's a myth. They did obviously fund and train, like, Mujahideen in Afghanistan. But bin Laden and this other guy called Abdullah Azam, they ran their own group from Saudi Arabia, like funded by the Saudis. It's called the MAK. It's some Arabic words, but basically what they did was raise money to get jihadists from across the Islamic world and send them to Afghanistan. But they weren't, you know, bin Laden wasn't trained by the CIA, and they weren't funded by the CIA either. And that's when they transitioned to Al Qaeda, where the Mujahideen became like warlords and stuff, and then the Taliban were another section of them, and that's why they had a big fight. There's an Afghanistan civil war in the 90s where the Taliban won, but it was generally, you know, the people that the US funded under Reagan with weapons. Well, they started funding them under Carter, but Carter didn't give them weapons, and the people they funded and gave weapons to, you know, generally just warlords. And it's the same thing happened when they toppled the Taliban. They just gave money and weapons to other warlords who wanted to take their place. Afghanistan's like, I'm not gonna say it's yeah, no, I'm not saying they didn't. They gave the Mujahideen Stinger launchers, but Bin Laden wasn't exactly Mujahideen, because Mujahideen a lot of the time were native led by people from Afghanistan. Bin Laden had his own group, and he transported a lot of foreign jihadists to join these militias and stuff. But Bin Laden wasn't directly receiving funding from the CIA or training from the CIA. Because I used to think that as well, but then I researched it. There's a picture of a guy who sort of looks like Bin Laden, and I think there's some stories about Bin Laden in like the press and stuff, but there's not like a a direct relationship between him and America. I'm sure there's a direct relationship between him and his family, though, because they're very wealthy. I think they offered to buy a football club in England, actually, the Bin Laden family. I forget which one it was. It was a smaller club. But yeah, like, the US essentially just backs whoever fights against their enemies, and they don't really care. And, Brzezinski said I think it was 1997, so Brzezinski was the national security advisor for Carter, and they said, because in 1997 it was the start of like these Al Qaeda attacks and stuff. When was the first World Trade Center one? Was it 1998 or something like that? Yeah, Times Magazine. Yeah, I think that's what I've seen as well. The article calling Bin Laden the freedom fighter. Yeah, but I don't think there is a direct link between him and the US in terms of like funding. But Brzezinski, someone asked Brzezinski, do you regret funding the Mujahideen, considering the Islamic fundamentalism that is spread across the world? And then he said no, because it's how we destroyed the Soviet Union, essentially. And I don't really like that question, because it assumes that Islamic fundamentalism essentially just springs out of Afghanistan and the war against the Soviets, which it doesn't. And what a lot of people don't understand is the Iranian Revolution was a big point for Islam in general, because it showed a lot of people you can have an Islamic democracy in essence. Like, you can combine Islam and have the priests and the people run it at the same time, as opposed to having, like, in Morocco, Morocco's a democracy now, but I don't know if it was back then, or Jordan. Oh man, Phil with his tree, thanks so much for the donation, man. To get some ceiling paint. Oh yeah, basically, all right, I'm gonna show you what I do. So thanks a lot for the donation, man. But look, I'm gonna take my happens. Those black marks over there. Let me see what happens. Give me a sec. So I have this. Wait. So I do that, right? And because my ceiling is so low, I often hit the ceiling really hard with the top of it. So it leaves a massive mark on the ceiling. And as you can see, I have applied loads of them, because when I can't be bothered right at the end, I always just smack it up into the ceiling by accident. It's really annoying. Yeah, so it's I think it's the paint or the marking off the weight on the ceiling, because there's more over there as well. So I'm gonna have to paint this when I move out. Sorry, what was I talking about? But yeah, Phil Tree, thanks so much for the donation, man. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the support. Jeremy Gunn, do you think that Trump is going to be able to get away with everything he's done? Or do you think it's inevitable that things eventually won't go his way during his presidency? I think the thing with Trump is it's not even so much that he's the president, it's because he's rich. And America doesn't prosecute wealthy people well. Like, look at Paul Manafort, like, literally committed treason, and what did he get, like was it 6 years or something? I think that's why Trump would just be too embarrassing. They want, him to get away with everything. So Jordan saying mixing religion and government is always bad. Ben Jamin says congrats on the 6,000, man. And here's something, well, yeah, I hope so. I just need that. I need that viral video or something. I need a big video again. I'm just, sometimes I think I've got it. Like, that James Charles one did well. I wish I could have done a bit more. The Ben Shapiro one did well. That was good. My AOC review of that Netflix documentary was fine as well. But I need something that hits like a bit harder as well. So Uzai is saying, do the demonstration of the weights again, but I question whether you have arthritis. Joke. Well, it already got me hot lifting that, so I don't want to lift anymore. So Rational Voice saying Obama was able to get away with everything he's done. Yeah, but Obama put a nice face on all of it, didn't he? Cabinacle time to roast Theresa May. Well, yeah, mate, my last video was on Theresa May, if you want to check that out. Kennedy saying, there was a KKK rally about an hour away from me, and someone was waving a sickle and hammer flag in protest. Nice. I was thinking about, actually, I was reading this really good article about socialist militias in America, and they don't always have guns, but they do have some guns, and they go and protect anti-fascist protesters and stuff. It's really interesting. I'd like to see that. That's a way I would support the Second Amendment. Hey, thanks, Cabos, my bro. Congrats again. I'm nearly 6.1k. Cabos, if you're still here, really weird story. There's people who are now subscribed to me who know who you are and know who I am, but they don't know we're brothers, and I find it's so strange. Like I was talking about on stream last time, and people were like, "Wait, you're Cavos' brother?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's so strange, but cool as well." Um, so Rational Voice: Obama drone strike Muslim countries, expand the war in Afghan, push to TPP was a more troops pocket. What's the country? Yeah, but that stuff's a bit different to Donald Trump, I guess, because Donald Trump is literally like a proper criminal. Like the stuff with Deutsche Bank and them money laundering and everything. Um, like that is proper illegal. And everything he's done in his whole life has been like illegal, really. Charles asking who's older, me or Cavos, and Cavos saying it's a good thing for you. Yeah, it is good. See, there's one person like Alaban HD here. Hi, Pierce. He knows who you are because I go and I think Philip Tree knows who you are as well. Like a couple of people still left. The best people who stayed around the whole time. What do I think of milkshaking? Okay, I'll get back to that. Cause I do want to talk about that. So Jordan saying I don't know that guy. Yeah, that's fair enough. Jeremy saying thanks for always replying to questions. I've been subscribed since 2K, I believe. I enjoy your political videos and live stream. Congrats on 6K. I hope you get many more. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Like, yeah, like it was. I remember saying to my girlfriend, even in January, I was thinking about giving it up because I just wasn't getting anywhere. And then that Bernie Sanders video sort of, even though I only got 22K views, it got me loads of subscribers, and it really put me, I think, in the algorithm with the other political channels, which I think because I'd collaborated with Callus before, I was in the algorithm with like drama channels. It would say my channel is like Drama Alert and stuff, where my channel is obviously not like that. And now it says on my suggested channels or what I'm related to, it's like Rational National, TYT, Jimmy Dore, and things like that. So I think it's been a good thing getting all these new subscribers. But yeah, thanks Jeremy Gunn. Hopefully, yeah, I do continue to grow. Um, Camels is way more intellectual than me, says Uzai. Um, you don't want to be too close. Yeah, it's not because it's anything bad. It's just because the audiences are so different, and so is the content. Yeah, Pierce. Rational Voice is a bit of a troll. Yeah, I don't want to shout out because of course, getting a shout out from a million sub channel is great and everything, and it obviously give me more subs. But at the end of the day, it's just dead subs really, and a lot of his audience are quite young, younger, and this is not what they're interested in because he shouted me out on Instagram, and then I post some of these comments on Instagram, or some of my videos on Instagram, and I just get the dumbest comments, and I get in the dumbest fights, and I just wouldn't want that like in my comment section being super toxic. And at the end of the day, it's the only thing it would do is boost my sub count. It wouldn't really boost anything else because it's not like, maybe if you got like 1,000 new subs, you'd maybe get maybe 100 who'd watch your stuff, probably a lot less. So there's really like no point apart from it boosting an artificial number because what matters really in this day and age of YouTube, it isn't subscriber numbers, it's views and people who watch your stuff consistently all the way through, and that's what you really need. Conor Kavanagh would lose in a fight with Cavs. Yeah, based on YouTube subscribers, yes. Podcast with Cavos, not anymore, probably. If you ever wanted to do one, I'd be up for it, but not really. That's how I started my YouTube. Really, well, not how I started, but I did that early on with him, and it was fun and everything. But now I've just got a proper audience who want to see me talk about politics more than anything else. So it's not really great, because me and Holly did the podcast, the first one, and we were talking about films, but we tried to put like a political spin on it, so it stayed relevant to the overall content of the channel. Yeah, it is true. Like it's crazy to me how many people watch YouTube and how many kids watch it. It's obviously like a change in the culture from when I was younger because we did watch YouTube, but there wasn't really as many YouTube personalities. Yeah, Philfish Tree, a mate just jumped from 4K to 68K, and his views haven't gone up much. Yeah, because that happens. I watched someone get shout out on Reddit the other day, and he went from like maybe like 20 to like 300K, but he only gets like 4K of video still. So at the end of the day, it looks good and it sounds good, but it is just like an inflated number. So Jorge Luis saying, "Hi Connor, do you think Bernie should win the nomination? What do you think Bernie should do to win the nomination?" Kennedy saying he should do what he's doing. He's running a brilliant campaign. Yeah, rational voice. Yeah, yeah, cows. Don't shout rational voice. He literally has like all his subscribers are bot accounts he's made. And one time I banned him from the stream, and he just like invaded with all these bot accounts. Um, yeah, he's running a good campaign. I don't know what I'd really change, to be honest. He needs to be way more critical of people when it comes to debates, though. Like he has to stop this thing about like not criticizing people's like shadiness, like he did with Hillary Clinton. Because imagine if he proper like went in on Hillary Clinton in 2016, because he obviously didn't, because he didn't want Trump to win. But then what happened is he lost, and Trump just said all this stuff about Hillary that Bernie could have said. So and then someone asked me about milkshaking earlier. Yeah, milkshaking is fine. Like the right wing gets so pissed off and start getting really violent. Like Tommy Robinson, that the first thing he does when he gets milkshake is trying to start punching someone, because like that's a proportional reaction to getting a drink thrown over you, is start trying to beat someone up. And I saw a video of Ed Miliband getting egged, and he took it so well, because obviously he's not like an individual. He's filled with loads of hate. So milkshaking fascists and stuff is totally fine. It's a nice bit of civil disobedience. It's non-violent, and what's the worst it does? It just ruins their clothes and stuff. Tells them at the same time it's not okay to do what they're doing, and I think that's fine. These people clutching their pearls about throwing milkshakes. Look at what Trump says about people, and all these people. Look what they're spreading. You need to make them know their speech isn't acceptable, and it makes them worried about going out in public, because they might get embarrassed getting this milkshake thrown all over them. So I agree with it. So let's keep going. Jeremy saying, have you guys heard about the flood in Oklahoma there in the UK? No, I haven't heard about that. What's going on in Oklahoma? Chol, a no-deal Brexit will happen in October. Well, no, Boris Johnson said he'd keep it on the table, but he doesn't want it. No-deal Brexit would be such a disaster. I would actually... I don't want it in a way. Well, I obviously don't want it, but kind of do in a way just to show people who voted for it how much worse their lives are going to get, because there's literally no upside to Brexit at this point. Like, I write about Brexit, part of my part-time job. I write about like the negative impacts of Brexit and stuff. There's actually no argument at the moment with the current government that you could make that Brexit is a good thing. So, but it's like you guys with Trump, though. People are just idiots. So Jorge Luis saying, Biden is disgusting. I can't stand watching him. Very old school guy. Yeah, I need to get working on my second part of my Biden video. But, if you watch my first part, so fucking racist, man. And the stuff he's done has literally destroyed America. Like, the reason people go to prison for life for marijuana is because of Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, and Hillary Clinton to an extent. And that's something people need to know. That is so destructive. Not even, war on drugs by Reagan and Nixon and shit like that is bad, but like they made it into policy that is absolutely devastating. They tripled the prison population in 20 years. Isn't that insane? The biggest prison population out of any country in the world. I guess if you discount China's concentration camps for Muslims, and North Korea, you obviously don't have the data, but out of everyone else. Rational voice, you're not even from our country, so American if you're patriotic about America, you're a fucking idiot. The same way if you're patriotic about England as well. Jordan saying milkshaking is super tolerant considering they're open fascists. Yeah, exactly. I personally think it's a good way to stop their hate speech. So Phil saying to Rational Voice, you have to have a really fanatical large following to gain from a shout out. My son has 17k subs, but only 20 subs. Yeah, exactly. Like shout outs don't really work a lot of the time, unless you feature the person in your content as well. And Phil, what is your son's channel? What does he talk about? But yeah, it's true. Like, especially if that channel has nothing to do with what your content is. Rational Voice, you easily would not beat me in a debate. And what would you even want to debate about? I know you wouldn't beat me though. I would own you with facts and logic. Kennedy saying Rational Voice go outside, and milkshake, and it's extra funny given the fact that white supremacists have been using milk emoji as a dog whistle. Oh, I haven't seen that, but yeah, that is good. And was it dry cleaners were telling people what to throw on fascists for the hardest things to get out, like cream and eggs and stuff? So Jeremy's explained the Oklahoma thing. He said there was so much rain in Oklahoma that all the lakes, rivers, creeks, levees have flooded The point that entire cities flooded, 2 barges hit, the Weathersfield Dam 2, and 70 tornadoes. Oh, that's crazy. Do you live in Oklahoma? 70 tornadoes, that's so mental. And do you think it has something to do with climate change? Well, AOC was saying tornadoes get sped up because of climate change. I know what's the difference between a tornado and a hurricane in terms of the way it's like is created, because hurricane's all about it's the hot water when the ocean's hotter and the land's colder, or am I getting that wrong? Is it the other way around? And that's when you get it, especially in like is it El Nino or La Nina? Um, so you know, I'm not too sure. But it obviously would be part of climate change if let's have a look at this actually. Look. Tornadoes and climate change. So there is some more comments. I'm going to read the link about it. So Phil saying he's a magnet fisher and mine is just anything, or I like to fix electronics. A magnet fisher? What's a magnet fisher? But yeah, that's cool. Just do whatever sometimes. Like mine used to be kind of like a more mixed bag until I focused on politics. Charles saying, why isn't there an English independence referendum like the Scottish one? Because England controls the power in the UK, so why would we want a referendum? Like, we like them being part of the union because it benefits us, and we control the politics the most. Like, the Labour Party and Tory Party, they're mainly English parties. They do have seats, or they used to have a lot of seats from Scotland and Wales, but not so much anymore. You live in Oklahoma, oh shit. Do you have like a bunker or a shelter to go in? So Kennedy saying, the weather is wild. I live in the Ohio Valley and we almost never get tornadoes around here and they never touch down, but we had quite a few funnel clouds recently. It's definitely climate change. Oh, interesting. Rational voice, I would destroy you in a debate about whether Islam is immoral. Well, I'm against Islam, so why would you destroy me in a debate about Islam? All religion is immoral. Phil Street, climate change, the latest is we are about to go into a solar minimum that may last 50 years or more and bring a mini ice age. That's for the experts. Yeah, the world is so fucked. Like, the next generation, or our kids and stuff, people who are my age, like 23 and under, so screwed. So the link between tornadoes and climate change is currently unclear. It's difficult to identify long-term trends in tornadoes because the records only date back to 1950. The population in many areas affected by tornadoes has grown, so it's possible that tornadoes in the early part of the 20th century occurred without anyone seeing them. Improved technology such as advanced radar also helps us see tornadoes that may not have been detected decades ago. Okay, this is what one part I was wondering. So researchers are working to better understand how the building blocks for tornadoes, atmospheric instability and wind shear will respond to global warming. It is likely that a warmer, moister world would allow for more frequent instability. However, it's also likely that a warmer world would lessen the chance for wind shear. Climate change could also shift the timing of tornadoes or the regions that are most likely to be hit. So that's kind of like what Kennedy's saying. It said it might shift the regions with a less of an impact. But it says it's not clear if climate change will at all affect the frequency, but might affect where it comes from. That's interesting. So, Jeremy saying it was a stressful time getting on my animals to parent how far. It sucks. So, in your area, it's flooding and tornadoes. That's really, really bad. So, Uzar saying, what's your opinion about gang violence within Greater Manchester and Bolton due to high knife crime and sexual assault? Well, I'm not comparing the figures to London. What's my opinion specifically? Obviously, it's hard to have an opinion about that sort of stuff. Like, obviously it's bad, and the symptoms are really poverty, aren't they? Because the northern places are way more impoverished than London, even though it's weird, though, because our knife crime seems to be more limited to, I guess, African, like Afro-Caribbean and Asian gangs, really. Obviously, like white people do stabbings and white people get stabbed as well, but it seems to be a lot of the people killed by knife crime are black in London, which isn't the case across the country because we live in a very diverse place, and I think probably the biggest African community is in London, or Afro-Caribbean community, because a lot of them are Caribbean as well. But Rational voice. Islam isn't more immoral than other religions. It's U.S. foreign policy's fault. It's a weak debate though. Like you're trying to debate me on a whole religion, but the only thing you're going to talk about is Islamic fundamentalism. That's weak. And I think all religion's bad, but I think the problems with Islam specifically, yeah, U.S. foreign policy. But there's other things. There's nuances to everything. Like for example, Muslims believe the Quran is a literal word of God. Like it's like God wrote a book basically. That's not the same in Christianity. Obviously, it's not the same in Christianity because you have the names of the people who wrote the books, even though those names a lot of the time aren't real names. Um, but yeah, whether it's more immoral or less immoral, it's different. Like Islam in general is more pro-science than evangelical Christianity, even though there's a lot of crazy shit in the Quran and stuff. Well, Islam doesn't have the right idea about women, since it literally says in the Quran, women must cover up if they're not in the presence of their um, male family members or something, or if they go outside the house and without a male escort and stuff. So they don't have the right idea about women. All this bullshit about Muhammad let women divorce and all this crap. Well, it's not so great if you're making women cover up as well without going outside the house, because Saudi Arabia is just the literal extension of Islam. And I hate people like, oh, Islam liberated everyone in the Middle East. It liberated all the women in the Middle East. These people never heard of like, it didn't liberate anyone. Like, could you say that Muslim women in 600 AD, 700 AD, had a better life than Greek women in whatever, like 300 BC or something? So Jeremy saying, well, it was all weak, but it stopped now. Other than that, the water released from the dams. Keystone Dam is releasing quarter of a million feet per second, still isn't helping. Oh, that's crazy. It's gonna that sort of stuff is probably gonna get so much worse, like in general across the country. Yeah, I hope you stay safe though, because that seems like it really sucks. I can't even imagine living in an area like that, because the worst thing that happens in London is the Thames floods sometimes, but it barely floods. With climate change, probably get worse though. Who's Tony Sewell? Joel, do you like him or what is it? Oh, his articles don't seem great. Black boys are too feminized. March 2010. He seems like a conservative, so I don't know how I feel about that. Kennedy saying, hot take, all religion is bad because religion just means powerful to quarter control capital. Yeah, it goes hand in hand with capitalism a lot of the time, especially in America. Like, think of how the Republican Party get all these poor working class people to constantly vote them, despite them never doing anything for them, and loads of policies that hurt them. They just say, yeah, let's make abortion illegal, let's make Christianity the dominant religion, all this shit. So as I was saying, do you know anything about Jill Dando? My dad was on about her. She's a famous presenter on Crime Watch, and she's going to expose Jimmy Savile, and she's dead. I hadn't heard of her. But obviously, like that Jimmy Savile shit was a massive cover up, wasn't it? Like, my mum said she used to work as a waitress at this TV studio, and she saw him, and he was always like so horrible, like creepy perv and stuff. 1999 she died. She was murdered. Oh shit. 4 million people shot and killed on her doorstep. So the conspiracy is she was killed by powerful people, I guess, because you can't really say whether it was BBC or government or some shit. Who's Thomas Sowell? Alright, I'm looking at this person too. Bam. Thomas Sowell is an American economist, social theorist. He's at the Hoover Institution, Stanford University. Served in the Marine Corps in World War II. Well, is he conservative as well? I don't want to waste my time on conservatives. So Philip Tree saying, all my mates are Indian or Pakistani Muslims. You see how they treat and talk to their sisters. It's shocking, even their wives, although their mother is a goddess to them. It's very wrong. Yeah, sometimes it's a cultural thing as well, because Indian culture, a lot of the time, shares a lot of similarities with Pakistani culture. Obviously, they used to be one country. But I think Asian culture, a lot of the time, like that, South Asian is the right word for it, has a lot of, sexism. So most of the world is sexist, isn't it? Western countries are a bit better. Obviously, institutionalized sexism has largely been outlawed in a lot of ways, but so. Oh, Alex saying congrats on the 6K. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for the support recently as well. Sorry, I missed out a load of comments. Jeremy Gunn, rational voice. I could beat you in probably any debate. This isn't even my live stream. Yeah, you probably could. Rational voice. If you see my content, you're just a little basic bitch. Rational voice. And Jeremy's not going to give you his views anyway. Kenny's saying you didn't tell him to look up Candace Owens next. Yeah, you just. Oh, Thomas Sowell says no hard evidence that Trump is a racist. Yeah, I don't want to even waste my time with people like this. It must be so frustrating as a black person to see all these people like this guy Candace Owens just become so popular by spreading all this shit. Like, it must hate them so much. Rational voice. You do not even have a degree. You're way too young. Black conservatives in America. Yeah, well, there's probably not a lot since only was it like 3% of black people voted for Trump or something. Yeah, Kennedy. It's obviously like in like Western countries, it's bad as well. In America, probably the conservatism, Christian conservatism, evangelical Christianity probably makes it just as bad. I always find it funny the similarities between Islamic conservatives and Christian ones, and why Christians are so fearful of them. They might actually find they have a lot in common. So Jordan said he's read Thomas Sowell's books on economics. He's a far right hyper-capitalist type. Why did you waste your time reading it? I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't even be forced to read something like that. It just made me too angry reading it. Jeremy saying if only all the education he paid for was actually useful. Well, Jeremy, he's bullshitting. He doesn't have. I don't even think he has a degree. I think he's just lying. And Jordan saying that guy's book was just non-stop laissez-faire capitalist brainwashing. Rational Voice just trolling now. You don't even believe this. I think he just talked. Yeah, I think he just quoted Ben Shapiro. Yeah, but I don't understand people who love capitalism so much. I don't understand how they're so blind. Like, just admit you love the exploitation of people to make you rich, because in a perfect world, capitalism like would exist in terms of like the free market. If I really like that stuff, it'd be everyone makes their own stuff. You go to a little market, you sell it for like a whatever price to buy all your goods, and that's how it all works. A nice little free market economy. But then even with the free market, one person starts selling more, one of their products is more popular, they get more powerful, they employ people, then the exploitation starts there. Like it can start straight away. I don't understand how they don't see that. Even in like a perfect little free market utopia, it's so easy to switch over to people getting exploited by these people. You can start at the beginning, like you can start really low down with like one shop and stuff, and grinding and using the free market to make your life better. But if you become wealthy by the end of it, like look at Jeff Bezos. It wasn't Amazon just for like selling people books and stuff, and then look what it's become because of the free market. And then what has the free market enabled him to do? And it's not even like people say keep the government out of the free market. They don't mind so much like Amazon getting tax credits despite paying no tax. How does that even work? Richest man in the world's company pays no tax, but gets to operate in the US and benefit off the labour of the US as well. Thomas Sowell went to Harvard. So did Ben Shapiro. It doesn't mean you're smart because you went to a good university. Loads of fucking idiots went to Oxford and Cambridge. Fucking Dominic Raab, who was the EU secretary, didn't even know about how important Calais in France was to trade with the UK. He probably went to fucking Eton, Oxford or Cambridge. So Phil's saying you should have titled your video Theresa May cancelled so you could cash in on the cancelled trend. Yeah, I could have. I doubt it would have really boosted the views that much more. It did alright considering I uploaded it at 2 p.m. I normally upload at American time, so it did fine. So Jordan's saying, I read his book because I'm interested in economics. I didn't Google him before I bought the book. I finished it because no, I knew. Yeah, I guess that's always helpful to know the arguments. Like just to educate yourself and develop the counter argument in your mind already. So when someone brings it up, you're not like at a chance of like stumbling through it and trying to, find out where you stand on it. It's a rational voice. He's just trolling, man. Rational voice saying exploitation is necessary to maintain order. That's why communism has never worked. Trying really hard to get those hate views. Yeah, exactly. Zephyr, can you please ban this troll? Rational voice, change back into a normal person or you have to be muted. Oh, Jeremy Gunn's getting him. What an idiot. So Phil's saying to earn good money, you need to save up about 10 grand. Then get a loan for about 30 grand. You can start making good money from properties. But you have to go off and fix them up for yourself to say. Yeah, someone who just moved in across from me, they're two like secondary school teachers, but they did that on the side, like done up houses and sold them for profit, and they got a really, really nice house now across from us. And secondary school teacher salary isn't like amazing or anything. I also don't think they have kids, but they have a really nice house, and they just developed the house across the road, and they got nice cars and stuff. So, okay, rational voice. I'm sorry, you ain't learnt your lesson. Put you on timeout for now. To earn good money, you need to take it from a rich person and eat that rich person's dinner. Is that what he actually said? I don't believe that. So, Phil, did you start fixing up houses? It must be hard. Like, I couldn't even. I don't know. It's such effort. It's so risky, isn't it? So he says, poor people deserve it and trying to help people is immoral. Yeah, that's the crazy thing about free market shit. It's like, if you have nothing to offer the free market, you deserve to die. Zephyr saying, bye, bye, bitch. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, rational voice. You had it coming, man. The thing is, what's annoying about him, last time I streamed, he was totally normal. And, like, he was contributing to the conversation. And he even started being normal in this one. And then he just goes off the deep end and starts saying all this awful shit to try and get a reaction from people. Like, I think the Surf said they want to arrange an interview with him. I might... Rational voice. Here's something funny. If you want to get on the Surf's channel, you shouldn't be trolling me because I'm friends with them. The Surfs. Yeah, the Surfs are here. It's like magic. I said the Surfs and they pop out of nowhere. Yeah, the Surfs. I saw in the comments of your latest video, which I'm on, so everyone go and check it out. Thanks, Surfs. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. I can't believe at one time me and the Surfs were nearly the same subscriber count. And now they're like triple, 612. No, like nearly quadruple my size now. Because that's what happens when Nazis get your channel banned. But it's best, even though it sucks that it happened, it's best thing that happened to them because, yeah, alright, trolls, because they just made them so much more famous. But no, that was really good that everyone helped out though. Wait, I'm going to get the Surfs video. I post it in the chat. People, click on a different tab and get this up. So, we made a good video about Steven Crowder. And I don't really watch I wasn't aware, but I don't watch too much Steven Crowder because obviously why would I? But it was really interesting to look into him. He's pretty pathetic, to be honest. So let me get this up. So we just logged in. What happened? Oh yeah. So the rational voice is screwed now. So basically, the rational voice has loads of bot accounts, and I saw that he commented on your video, Surfs, and saying like let's arrange an interview and stuff. But basically, he just comes on here when I don't know, when he doesn't get his own way. He literally just starts commenting so much shit, like racist shit, misogynist shit, to try and get a reaction. Uh, so yeah, that's what we're gonna warn you about them. Like, it's not because if you go on his channel, it's not like bad. Like, he's not even like a bad person in terms of his politics. But I don't know what his problem is. I don't know if he used to be like some alt-righter or anything, because he's saying all this shit just to get a reaction out of everyone. Sorry, I missed some of your comments. Yikes. Sorry, Rational Voice. I think I ruined your chance with the serfs. Oh yeah, and most of his subscribers are his accounts. They're bot accounts. Yeah, ironic racism. Kennedy's always fighting with him in the thing. Mediocre sock dem content. Oh, savage. His heart's in the right place when he's on his videos. I guess his content could be higher quality. I'm an attacker, I can't help it. Yeah, exactly. Ironic racism. He goes too far, to be honest. It's not even like funny. It's just like super offensive shit that he's just trying to get me to condone stuff. So Charles saying, Thomas Sowell said that I have never understood why it's greed to want to keep money you have earned, but not greed to want to take. Yeah, that's such a... The thing with conservatives as well, I tweeted this the other day to someone, or I wrote in a comment, they cherry pick what they care about so much. It's like, oh, I don't care, I don't want my taxes to pay for welfare because people are lazy. But here you go, 0.1%, have a massive tax break. Amazon, it's fine that you pay no tax. Here's a tax credit based on taxpayer money. Let's give another 700 billion to the Trump administration for the army. Let's give Israel 4 billion every year. I don't care about that. It's crazy, like, they just hate poor people and hate, demonize them as lazy people. And a lot of these Andrew Yang supporters, I was talking to one the other day, and I was like, the only reason I think he was saying, my friends look down on, like, welfare, people get welfare, and I think rebranding it to a dividend will make people, like, treat it less like it's a bad thing. And I said, your friends are just greedy, and they just don't want to take the money because they don't want to be seen as lazy by their peers and other people they look down on the working class with. So they don't want to take welfare, but they'll take this dividend. And it's weird, the support for Andrew Yang. It just seemed a lot of people are super greedy and want the $1,000. It's quite a good con, actually. And like some of you might have seen my video, fast rating you. You're not growing at all, man. You're just making bot accounts. I've ended your whole career like super hot fire. Rational Voice, one more chance. Jordan Fay, old dunking on you. Look, the serfs, they've banned you, lads. Or lad. Rational Voice. Literally, I think, Rational Voice, all your subscribers are you making accounts. Just act like a person. But, yeah, what do people think of UBI? I already had a conversation with a lot of people in the comments. What does everyone else think? Especially Andrew Yang's UBI specifically, not like a Labour Party UBI. Like, you have to choose between UBI and your benefits, which makes no sense to me. Your subs aren't real, I can tell. Rational Voice, so naive. Charles saying, Thomas Sowell grew up poor in New York City and was a Marxist until he took an economics class by Milton Friedman at Harvard. Kennedy hates Yang. I don't hate him. Like, I think the one thing that's interesting about him is the automation point, because it's something I really hadn't thought about, and it is something I think people need to take more seriously. So, is Milton Friedman? I haven't really read him. Is he like Ayn Rand or something? I'm looking up it. I'm looking up now. Keynesian theory. Let me see. Where's the gay rights? Ooh. Oh, he was a supporter of gay rights. It must have been great then. He won the Nobel Prize in Economics. Oh, he just loves a free market, doesn't he? Radiates evil. All these free market capitalist types do. Rational Voice. The comment section doesn't mean anything. This guy is so unconvincing. So Zephin saying, we all... Oh, shit. Sorry, I had top chat on instead of live chat. But I don't think it's really affected anything. He's worse than Ayn Rand. Okay, Ayn Rand is pretty terrible. So Zephyr saying, we all know exploitation is essential to capitalism. That's why we're leftists. True. He's truly despicable. Watch a video of him speaking and make your skin crawl. Okay, I'm gonna watch him after the stream. But yeah, someone was arguing in my comments on the Yang UBI thing, saying that capitalism has allowed everyone to grow. It's allowed all these countries to grow, and then he was using Africa as an example. And I was like, "Are you serious? Africa, a country that throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s has literally been devastated by Western capitalism. Western capitalism has created all these oligarchies, all these really super corrupt authoritarian regimes. Are you really saying Africa is a good example of where capitalism has done really well? Like even South Africa is super corrupt now because of like Chinese influence and stuff. And the whole Arab Spring was a response to Western style capitalism implemented by all those authoritarian regimes. So I don't know how people have been brainwashed so badly. Like, the thing is with a lot of these right wingers is like they hate social. Like the thing with the capitalism and a lot of stuff. Like even like Bernie Sanders says, and at the local level, free market capitalism can work and stuff. And in theory, you can see like an ideal utopian scenario where it would work, but it's just not realistic at all because it relies on certain things, especially a free market model. It relies on people's better nature, not taking over. Like you're asking people to sort of coexist in an equal way while having capitalism, which is just never going to happen because the way you get ahead in that sort of system is exploiting people and making as much money as possible because that's the incentive to get ahead. It's like their version of free market capitalism is like a socialist one where you're all meant to coexist together and your capitalism is meant to fund yourself and your livelihood, whereas we know what humans are like in a lot of instances, especially under capitalism, is just greed and everything. So that people say socialism is unrealistic. A free market capitalist system that benefits most people, and also it's free market capitalism. It's essentially ableist anyway, isn't it? Because what do disabled people do in a free market system? What if you're a disabled person without a family? What do you do in that system? You can't work, so you can't make money. You just die. That's essentially what does happen. So Jordan's saying, do I drink? I'm not against drinking, but I'm not big on it. Like, I get drunk maybe a couple of times a year, like special occasions. I might have a drink if I'm at a pub and everyone else is doing it. Because I drive everywhere, when I'm going out, I don't really drink much anyway. Maybe just have one or two. But yeah, I'm not against it. I just don't really do it. And I don't do drugs either. I've never done drugs before, just because I just don't want to put shit in my body, to be honest. So drinking is bad. Oh shit, my dad had his liver cut out. Oh, so that sucks. What do I think of anarcho-capitalism? I don't know what that is. Is feudalism. Shut up, rational voice. Give you a little time out. No one will care about hit pieces on me. I'm irrelevant. Why would your bot subscribers, which are all you, even care what I'm saying? Wait. Didn't I put one time out? Everyone watching, go and dislike all his videos. Oh, the Surfs gave me a link. Let's have a look. So, anarcho-capitalism is a fringe political ideology that prioritises the freedom of the individual from state cohesion and advocates market-based solutions to all social needs. Anarcho-capitalists believe that compulsory taxation is a violation of individual liberty, and the law enforcement courts and all services should be provided by voluntarily funded private defence industries. So how's that different from taxes? How's this last bit? Anarcho-capitalists believe that compulsory taxation is a violation of individual liberty, but all services should be provided by voluntarily funded competitors. What does that mean? if you're funding it voluntarily, it's just like voluntary taxes or something. I don't know. There's so many weird ideologies I'm not familiar with. Christian, traditional anarchist movement. So traditional anarchist movements originated on the left and do not consider anarchy and capitalism to be compatible, and thus consider anarcho-capitalism not to be an authentic form of anarchism. ANCAPs have proven to be some of the greatest tools for anarchist unity and living memory, as more or less every single major anarchist group and tendency stands united in despising them. Needless to say that socialists, communists, social democrats, blah blah blah, aren't fans of them either and unite against them to beat the ANCAP. Even conservatives aren't above taking occasional pot shots at them. It sounds like some weird fringe thing. So Kennedy says, anarcho-capitalists think taxing is slavery, but actual slavery is fine. Rational voice. Yeah, but rational voice, if you don't want dislikes, stop being a troll. Just contribute like a normal person or leave. Kennedy saying, I want someone to make a hit piece of me. I'll give you my Twitter and Tumblr and everything. Rational voice. Politics isn't about escaping reality. Yeah, politics is depressing. And to face it, like, to actually follow politics is fucking depressing. And I think Anna Kasparian was saying, I watched a good video. She's saying how it's like really emotionally taxing, covering the news like 5 days a week, like especially the sort of stuff they cover, because it's so awful about the Trump administration. Actually, I read something awful yesterday. I was gonna make a video on it. I need to find it. It's like a 40-page document. I think actually no, it's 200-page document. What am I talking about? And it's fucking awful. It's titled. It's a really massive report. So, torture, India's state instrument of control in Indian administered Jammu and Kashmir. And it's just detailing the torture by the Indian-backed security forces there. And it's fucking awful. Like, they're like chopping people up and feeding them their own body and stuff. And like, I don't know why I haven't seen more people talking about this stuff. It's so crazy. I'm going to post. It might take a long time to load, but if someone wants to have a flick through it, this stuff is so. Oh, it's too long to even go in the chat. But this stuff is so fucking depressing. I put the title in so people can look it up. It's so fucking awful. Like, it's one of the worst things I've ever read, and I can't believe, like, you know, we have the shadow foreign secretary in England, who's the Labour's stand-in for the foreign secretary, congratulating Modi on winning another election. Modi is Hindu nationalist, which is essentially a fascist, Hindu fascist, and all this shit is happening. Like, it's not just Modi this has happened under, but this sort of crap is so bad. Like, you think like Abu Ghraib is bad, like this sort of stuff is like insane. I don't know if I'll make a video on it, but I'm definitely going to read it. Oh, it's 121 pages. And it's done by a lot of people who work at the UN. So I'm going to check it out at some point. I'm going to make notes on it. If I make a video... The thing is, the annoying thing about something like this is I really want to make a video on it to spread like awareness about something like this, but the amount of effort it will take to make a video on this and the views really won't be good. I can just tell already, because whenever I step out of something that isn't like mainstream British or American politics or just political ideology and shit like that, it just doesn't do well. But something like this is super interesting to me. Sorry. So Zephan saying, so if you cannot pay, you don't get the service, and cap is basically feudalism. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Feudalism began in England, I think. I wouldn't say that, but maybe the modern ideal of it did. So Jeremy said, I'm back and I did as promised, thanks to the idea. So you disliked Rational Voice. Yeah, so Kennedy, yeah, it's true actually. Dislikes are good for the algorithm. So Kennedy Crouch, you're not doing it because you know it's wrong. It's not wrong if you try to chat. So yes, please do read that. I'll read that tonight. Just check it out. Check out the summary at least. It's fucking insane. I get bullied at school every day. Your arsehole is a massive liking. Go on this Rational Voice. I saw you in the Surf's comment. Didn't you read didn't you listen to that thing about bullying? And a lot of people in the comments were saying, I was bullied at school, but I wasn't like some, you know, edgelord or like some fucking Nazi. So I know your politics are fine, but you're not going to get anywhere trolling people's chats. Apparently, people have seen you on the Young Turks chat as well, talking loads of shit. Kenny saying, I'd say I look forward to Michael Brooks talking about it, but he's taking a week off. Okay, Daniel, that's nice of you. I'll help you spread it. Send it to US mainstream media too. Do a video on the Northern Conquest in England. All right, I'll have a look at it. I don't even think Michael Brooks would do it because, like, I know these people are good, like progressive media and stuff, but when have you ever heard anyone do one video on Kashmir, like specifically Kashmir, and because I think like the Young Turks sometimes talk about when they talk about India, Pakistan, and stuff, because obviously it's a big issue for them. But yeah, I do. I don't even know if I want to read it. It sounds they like rape people, you know, cannibalism, all this shit. It's so awful. Like it's gonna like scar me. Oh, Carl Kalinske has okay. Trying to bait us off engagement. Here in the States, I literally set up a Nebula cast via tax scam cut. I don't think I can ever get over, like, I know British people are fucking stupid as well, but I don't think I'm ever going to get over how stupid Americans are. Like, I can't, like, it actually boggles my mind how dumb they are. Like, it's insane to me. You're literally, I was thinking this the other day, right? In the UK, if you don't like rich people, you have an alternative for the most part, especially these days. You can vote Labour, right? Or you can vote Green Party. In the US, you literally have no alternative to voting a party of rich people who are only for the rich, or a party of rich people who sometimes do some things that are all right. That's all. That's all you have, and that's all you've had. How many years has it been a two-party system since the like early 1800s or something? Like since the Whigs died out. Do you know what I mean? Like how can you be okay with both of them? And I know like you had FDR, you had some people like he had like Lyndon Johnson and stuff, but for the most part, every Democratic president has already been wealthy. And you know the way the brainwashing in America is so effective. And like I've said to people before, I think it's because your education system is so politicized, and it's crazy that you don't have a federal education. Like you have, you know, it's not federal because in the UK you have different companies that set up programs and what you're taught in school and everything. But I think in the US it needs to be something like because the fact that some kids still get taught history, but you know completely distorted by religion, or not being taught about evolution, or not being taught about you know archaeology and shit like that because they believe the Earth is like 10,000 years old. That's crazy, and I think that's such a strong point in why your country is absolute. Like, okay, the UK is fucked and everything, but it's absolutely fucked in terms of how can so many people support someone like Donald Trump? How can so many people support the GOP? How can so many Democrats support like Nancy Pelosi and Bill Clinton and stuff? Because education is so poor. And I made a tweet today about most people are idiots at politics. Like even smart people are idiots at politics. I was talking about there's lots of intelligent people. Like I was talking about Mark Hamill, J.K. Rowling, Rufus Sewell, who plays Rufus Sewell. No, that's his name's not Rufus. I don't think, but he comes from the same area as me. He plays John Smith in Man in the High Castle, and it's a really great performance. It's a great show as well. He's obviously a smart guy, but the stuff they share on Twitter and like on Twitter about politics is so stupid, and it just like my mind. I'm just like, how can you? I don't know if it's not being curious or be so comfortable. You just pick the most establishment people and think they're great. I think it's a lack of understanding for people who have it worse off, and a lack of empathy. So sorry, to catch up the comments. So Daniel's saying a lot of my colleagues at work are very interested and concerned about India. So anything you can do is appreciated. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look at this. I think this week. Oh, so it's the Trump protest in the UK next Monday. I'm probably gonna go. I don't know how good the video will be. I want to talk to some people, but I think I'm at least gonna go and live stream some of it, and then make a little video on it. Hopefully, I need to find someone to go with though. Yeah, Kennedy saying critical thinking is not good in the US. Someone saying is Corbyn popular? Is that what Doug's asking? 6 to 1860s and the Whigs went away. Bill Clinton grew up poor. Daniel saying, indeed, we have captured constituents here. Rational Voice saying, thanks to everyone in the chat who didn't participate in Masters like me. I'm glad you didn't. Yeah, Rational Voice, if you don't troll everyone, you're not going to get back. You're literally writing super racist shit all the time to get attention for your channel. That's not a good strategy. No one should feel guilty for liking your content. Yeah, Melly and Bubble. Oh, Doug. I'd say Jeremy Corbyn is the most popular politician because politicians generally don't have a support base or have a fan base. So someone like Jeremy Corbyn, who's actually has people who like and support him, is way more popular than most politicians because everyone hates most politicians. Boris Johnson, I think, is pretty popular in terms of conservatives like him and people on the right wing. But he's also Corbyn's really hated as well because people think of him as a threat to like the status quo and stuff, and people hate Boris because opportunist right winger, like never really done anything good for this country. So he's pretty popular, and it doesn't matter if he's popular in terms of the country. It's the membership and the party that vote him in. So why does it matter if they undislike your videos? It's not ruining your channel. If anything, it's helping your channel. But yeah, like, did anyone see like Alyssa Milano's tweet where she said like, "This is so shocking" about a KKK rally, and people were like, "Yeah, it's not really that shocking to many of us because it's been going on since like the birth of the United States." And and she was like, "Oh, it's not my fault. I've been homeschooled since I was 9 or something." Well, you have chosen to make your platform, the sex strike woman, yeah. You've chosen to make your platform super political. So if you're going to do that, maybe educate yourself on stuff that happens. Like, how can you be so ignorant to think, okay, like a KKK rally, it's not shocking. Do you know what I mean? It's not shocking, like, oh my God, how can this be happening in 2019? But it's not like that. It's like, this is awful to see. And, I really don't want to see this. But at the same time, it's not surprising. That's the thing. Like, that's the sentiment you should have. Not, this is so shocking. I can't believe America is like this. Like, do you understand what America even is? Even if America, wasn't built on slavery and racism and shit like that, has a whole history of demonizing minorities, that still wouldn't be surprising because groups like that have become so prominent. GOP is literally part of white supremacy. I wouldn't say KKK having a march is that surprising in 2019. Yeah, Melissa Milano is so dumb. Yeah, she's really stupid. So Jeremy Gunson, I got an alert on my phone about a voluntary evac, but I think it's where I'm at. But I don't think it's where I'm at exactly. I didn't really get affected by the storms myself. The floods are historic. Yeah, stay safe, man. That's crazy. Like having all those like things happening, like floods and tornadoes. I don't even understand how people live through that. Rational Voice, are you being serious? I'm reporting this channel for doxing. You told your subs to masses like me. That's sick, honestly. Getting tired of you, Rational Voice. Can't take a little hate. We can all report you, and there's a lot more of us. We can all report you for hate speech because that's what you've been writing, and I have evidence of it as well in my previous chats. All these live streams are archived on my channel. They're actually public as well. So if you want to report me for doxing, go ahead. I'll just report you for hate speech, and then I'll send in the report all the fucking shit you've been saying on this channel in the comments, all the racist stuff, all the stuff against women, and then your channel would actually get banned. So I wouldn't threaten me with trying to get me banned for doxing. But it's up to you. Because I have everything you've said. These live streams aren't deleted. Yeah, I think brigading is the word. Rational Voice, how does you being 16 make any difference to you saying hate speech? You're saying you're going to report me for doxing, which I'm not even doing, and I'm saying you've wrote racist shit on my channel, which is there for everyone to see if they want to go back and look at my old live streams. So if you want to report me, I can literally like report you with real evidence. So yeah, Jordan saying, "Don't threaten the tabernacle with a good time, son." I lit. How does your personality have anything to do with what I'm saying? You said you're going to report me for something I didn't do. I can report you for something you actually did do. If you have a mental disorder, maybe don't go on YouTube comment section if you don't want to put your channel in jeopardy. Yeah, 16 is no excuse for being racist, of course. I love when people say about Ben Shapiro's racist tweets, oh, he was 24 or something, or 23. He's learned a lot. He is so unapologetic, and you know, 23, you have some accountability. I'm 23. Imagine if I just sat here right now talking about how Arabs love to live in sewers, and then 10 years later I'm like, yeah, I'm so different now. I shouldn't have said that stuff. Like, obviously people can change, but nothing has changed about him. I'm just gonna finish this coffee. Rational voice. I think you're bullshitting about this as well, because I think you said something last time about having meds or some shit. Kennedy says, I was a shithead when I was 16. Okay, 16 is fair enough, Kennedy. I'm talking about, like, well, what we're saying is you have some accountability when you're 16, but obviously people grow up. Like, I'm different to when I was 16. But, yeah, like, I'm talking about Ben Shapiro trying to say, like, when he was 23, after he went to Harvard, saying loads of racist shit, somehow is irrelevant because he's 30 now. God, I need some coffee. I'm not really big on coffee, but iced coffee is decent. Doug saying you can't use a mental illness as a shield, exactly. Rational voice, I thought you were a master debater. Your argument is so weak. I'm not racist. People literally make fun of me for being feminine. Okay, shit, are you Asian or something? Maybe that is racist. I drink like 3 cups of coffee a day. Yeah, I don't drink. I don't drink it every day, and when I start full time work, I'm not gonna drink it because I don't want to like rely on it and rely on caffeine because I don't want to like have to drink it to feel. I used to drink a lot of soda, and when I stopped drinking it, I felt so awful. So I don't think I'm gonna, keep drinking. Jordan, when I was 16, I was all about getting girls. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about mainly as well. Going out, girls, lads, footy, video games. I did like politics when I was 16 though. I loved history as well. I started watching the Young Turks when I was 15, so I was big on everything like that even back then. So Eric Brownson, I used to be a school teacher. My bullshit detector is alarming big time rational voice. Yeah, exactly. Rational voice, you guys have been dicks. Free will isn't real. I have zero control. Yeah, you're bullshit. I knew you didn't have mental problems. What, Phil? Did you have a kid when you were 16? So Eric's saying when I was 16, I was all about not getting girls. It was also 2003. So wait, how much older are you than me? 16. So you're 8 years older than me. So you're 8. So you're 31. It must have been. It's so weird. Like I think sort of my generation is the last generation of kids not growing up on social media because we had Facebook and stuff when we were like 14, but it was so basic. It was so different to what they had to now. Like people are getting Snapchat when they're like 8 years old and stuff, and Instagram. It's crazy. I think it's so bad for people. So Jordan said I got into science at around 17, which got me into politics, and I was around 20. Oh, Phil, so you had a kid when you were 16. Shit. Did you think your life was over? I'd be so fucking shit, man. I'd be so scared. Are you still with the same woman? Or did it not last? Uh, yeah, when you get into be an adult, you get into politics, don't you? So 17, 20. I take it. I've always liked it more seriously as I've gotten older, though. Rational voice. Yeah, I don't think you have mental health problems because you troll the chat and then immediately blame your mental health problem to try and get out of a problem and acting like it's not your fault. Mental health problems doesn't mean you troll people's chats and can't control yourself. So Kennedy's saying at 16 I thought I was going to be famous and that racism was fake. Well, you still might be famous. Well, you like an anti-SJW, you love Ben Shapiro and stuff and you're 16. Phil giving us a bit too much detail. I was fucking since I was 12. That explains a lot. Like when you're a kid then. Eric saying I'm extremely 31. How does 31 feel? I'm really conscious about getting older. The other day I thought I was 26 for some reason, even though I'm 23. I think in my head I've already allowed myself to get older than I am. So Kenny's saying I was a show choir bitch. I remember Facebook when I was in fourth grade. I don't remember when it came out, but I remember everyone got it in like 2009. So Eric saying you can't say your generation didn't have social media then. So well, we all had Facebook and stuff. Yeah, I mean like we did have Facebook, but we didn't have like videos on. Like you didn't have camera phones like today. Like you couldn't record yourself and record everything, put it on Instagram, put it on Snapchat, taking pictures all the time. It was just like you literally post it on people's Facebook walls, and that's the extent of it. And maybe use like instant messenger as well. Oh, nice, Phil. Saying we broke up after the second kid when the first was nearly 8, went on to have more, got custody of them all. Nice. How many kids do you have? So wait. Jordan saying I'm 25 and now I'm into history and politics. Yeah, everyone takes their time. Like when you're younger, it's easy not to really care about this stuff because it doesn't really affect you until you're older. All right, Russian voice definitely trolling. He doesn't have mental health problems at all. No one believe him. So Kennedy was a big Bill O'Reilly fan. That's even worse than Ben Shapiro. Truly brainwashed. It sucks. At least you got out of it though. Like, like I was saying the other day, I can't believe people actually like go to school and work with Trump supporters. Like it boggles my mind. I would go insane if that was me. Like how can I be sitting next to my coworkers or fellow students when they literally like are supporting fascism and think it's okay just to sit there and support this guy? It's crazy. So Rational Voice is a bigger piece of shit because he's also making fun of mental illness by pretending having bipolar means you can't help yourself but write really racist things on an internet live chat. Remember MySpace top friends ranking? I used to use Bebo. I don't know if anyone used Bebo, and you tell your top friends, and you just change them around when you're friends with me and stuff. It's so stupid. So Jose Diaz saying, is it possible for the US to have a style of government like how the UK has a House of Commons? Congress is kind of like the House of Commons, but the thing with the House of Commons is that pretty much the only powerful branch of the government, whereas the House of Lords only has power to veto stuff, and it doesn't use it that much, and you can't keep veto in it, so eventually you have to pass it. Um, so the Commons is like if Congress had way more power, or if you, the president was more accountable to Congress because Trump's basically ignoring congressional power and stuff. So sorry, let's keep going. So Doug saying I have bipolar friends and I never say racist stuff. Yeah, exactly. Eric saying 31 feels like 50. My body is not as spry as it once was, but it's mainly because I didn't care rejection and shit during my 20s. Yeah, I'm really afraid about that. Like I'm wondering, do you actually start feeling worse physically as you get older? Like, because I exercise a lot and stuff, pretty much every day. Like weights are running, and I'm thinking like, can I keep doing this like for the next, let's say like 30 years and stuff? Will I still be able to do this when I'm like 40 or something? And of course, there's lots of good examples. Like even like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, they're like in their 70s and they still work out and stuff, and they look alright. I mean, like, apart from the plastic surgery, but I mean, their bodies look alright for how old they are. But yeah, I wonder about that. Like, I hope there's not a day when I wake up in like 5 years and I feel like shit, and I'm like, I'm not as young as I once was. So Phil saying I have 4 grandkids now as well, and I'm not even 50 yet. That's interesting. But I guess because you had kids so young. But that's like my grandma has 10 kids, and then now it's so weird because my cousins are like 40 something, and my second cousins are like my age and stuff. It's really really weird. And then like my auntie's been like grandparents, like you feel like grandparents since they were like 40 and stuff. You are lying, rational voice, because you're just using it to get out of everything. So Kennedy's saying I have so many classmates who are GOP staffers, and I have to be friendly with them. Oh my god, I couldn't even deal with that. How, having all those people who are Trump supporters, GOP supporters. Because the thing is, even in the UK, I'll let people off a bit when they're conservatives, because conservatives in the UK are a bit more sophisticated with their agenda. But the GOP is so obviously racist and corrupt, you actually just have to be racist to support them. Sorry, one sec. So Eric's saying, I live next door to Trump supporters and I get angry every time I see them at the mailbox. Oh, I would just not even want to speak to them. It's okay saying the MySpace top friends list. Throwback. Doug saying, sure, yeah, you can play bipolar Tourette's. Yeah, exactly. Rational voice. If you can't help yourself by saying it, bipolar is about your mood change. It doesn't mean you have to fucking type everything you think. So Charles saying, my history teacher was evangelical. She would always quote Thomas Sowell in class. That's annoying. Oh, Kennedy's saying, almost everyone in my family is a Trump supporter. I'd want to die. And they love the war criminals. That goes without saying. If you love the Republicans, you love war criminals anyway. Rational voice, you're a bullshit. No one believes anything you say. So Daniel's saying, trust me, it's difficult, especially if you're Latino, because they lash out at you unsolicitedly in the workplace. Yeah, that's so shit. Like, it's literally like if you're like Latino, and I think some of you guys are in the chat, and your friends are Trump supporters, they're literally just saying, I hate Latino people. Like, how can you support Trump and be okay with Latino people? It shows your fucking racism. Yeah, John's saying checks and balances don't work when everyone's corrupt. Yeah, exactly. And the US is like completely corrupt, and it's actually just such a circus. Literally, the whole process. Like, why do elections last like 2 years? So people are gonna help. Chat can help this guy out. So Jeremy Gunn saying, serious question. Been wanting to start my own political commentary channel. I was wondering how should I go about that, because clearly Rational Voice got it all wrong. So people can help out Jeremy in the chat. What would my advice be? Starting off, I guess the main thing is, I'd say, do stuff you're passionate about, because if you're covering the news and you don't care about it and you're trying to pretend you're outraged, that a long conversation on it really. So that's why I kind of cherry pick. So I give my reaction to things like Ben Shapiro getting destroyed on BBC or Theresa May resigning, because that's something I want to talk about, obviously. But all right, I'm back apparently. G. So hopefully it's all working again. I can't even respond to the chat properly. So one sec. Yeah, so my Wi-Fi is down again. This happened a couple of weeks ago as well, annoyingly. So sorry, turn my phone on because I want to get the chat up. So sorry, I was going on a little bit of a rant about people's channel. How to make a good politics channel. Oh, I lost like half the viewers as well now. So one sec. Let me just get the chat up again. Kalanako. See what's going on here. Alright. Okay, sorry, I'm going to have to go back up. So I was talking about Jeremy, about his political channel. Yeah, so talk about things you want. Talk clearly. If you record it badly, start again. We should be okay for now. I'm using my 4G hotspot on my phone. I don't know what is happening with this Wi-Fi. I don't know. It always picks the most annoying times to go down. But yeah, just pick stuff you're passionate about and make sure you talk clearly, and maybe sometimes try and pick some niche topics or react quickly to stuff. Post on Reddit to get popular and everything. So Daniel was saying Bill Riley, right-wing radio, granted tacit consent to right-wingers to harass Latinos in non-white, so it's unbearable. Yeah, it's crazy. Fox News perpetrates so much and stuff like that. It's mental. So I've never really thought about it, to be honest. I would actually like to do it though. But the stuff with the EU might be leaving the EU, so we're not really going to have a presence in the European Parliament anymore. So Jose Diaz saying, and sorry, I'm just catching up on all the comments. So sorry if you post something now and I'm not reading it. So Jose saying Trump being leader of the Republican Party would have him in PMQs every Wednesday on live TV debating on all fronts. He would melt in seconds, assuming that's how it would work. Yeah, that would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? Imagine Trump being scrutinised by the Democrats every single week, and he has to answer the questions. Like, that would be so good to see. He would capitulate every time. It is crazy how much they can run away from, some accountability. Like, when's the last time he held a press conference that he was in, like a general one? So Phil says, I'm 48 and I don't feel much older. I look it in the face when my body looks like it did when I was 20, where I work out for an hour or two a day, depending when I get a chance. That's good to know, actually, because when most parents I know, including my own parents, I look at them and I'm like, I don't want to look like that when I'm that age. Like, not saying they look bad or anything, but it's like, I want to still be comfortable in my skin, like my body and stuff. I don't want to be like, not being able to exercise or run or anything if I wanted to. So Daniel's saying, Pelosi is actually paid to fail. Pelosi needs to be impeached yesterday. Yeah, exactly. She's such a joke. I think she's playing mind games with Trump. So Eric's saying, drink lots of water, stretch, and you'll feel fine as you get older. Hopefully, I need to start stretching. That's one thing. I don't even stretch before I run a lot of the time, which is bad. I just kick my legs out to the side and up. So Phil's saying, I have severe emphysema, though, so apart from being out of breath, I'm pretty fit. Really, if we had a fight, I would win. So long as I could take it down 1 minute. You've got experience on your side. Should be fine to the 40 exercise. Yeah, hopefully. Doug asked me, how do I feel about the US escalating tensions with Iran? Obviously, Iran has been on the neoconservative, like, chopping block for years, hasn't it? Like, they've always wanted to get back at them for everything. It's pretty crazy it might happen, though, especially after Iraq and Afghan. Here, one sec. I'm just going to switch my connection to my Wi-Fi because I don't want to use my data live streaming. Never mind. All right, never mind because it's still weird. So Jorge says I'm LGBT. Daniel saying it sucks. Trust me, we have to avoid Trump supporters here in the States because it's crazy. Like, he's emboldened them so much, hasn't he? So Jerry's a lot of them in the Bible Belt band. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? So oh shit, Daniel's saying thanks, bro. I just became a Tyler Durden level patron. Did you seriously? What even is my tier? I need to check. But if you have, that's crazy, man. I super appreciate it. Let me go on my Patreon. Oh yeah, cheers, man. That's so nice of you, Daniel. I really, really appreciate that. Very kind. Yeah, I need to advertise my Patreon a bit more, but I do appreciate it because I really want to. I know I don't have any tiers and stuff, but I really want to get some better equipment, like a mic crane and things, because it's just, it's quite amateur, my setup. Like, it doesn't look awful, but I'd like a bit more. People have suggested me to do better as well. So Pernision saying left is love, left is best. Not enough time to watch, but enough to give thumbs up. Thanks, Pernision. I know you probably haven't seen this now because it's taken so long to reply. Phil says my advice would be to try and stay neutral and be topical, but look for common human ground stuff. A lot of people can relate and have snazzy thumbnails and titles. Yeah, I guess that can work sometimes, but in politics, you sometimes want to take a side a bit more to get the audience. If you want money, you got to be a right-wing sellout. But Zephan saying everything being refused in private central banking and selling oil for currency other than US dollars. Sorry, what are we talking about here? There was very little ideological difference between Nixon, Eisenhower, Macmillan, Eden, and Churchill. Yeah, it's different context, though, isn't it? It's Britain and America. sorry, I think I skipped some comments. Yeah, so someone asked me about Iran and the US. Like, I just find it so crazy that oh, you're talking about Iran. So yeah, so obviously why they're doing Iran is because neocons obviously want to take over finally because they had their sights set on Iran for like I don't know, probably since 1979. So you can probably understand why they want to take over, but it is quite sad that it might happen as well. But wait, so is the Wi-Fi working now? Let's have a look. So I got all my things. All right, I can switch now. So all right, one sec. I am legit switching the connection quick. Don't go anywhere. So we not using my data anymore. Do people have unlimited data on their phones? It's something I've never really personally wanted and stuff, but it would be helpful. You do. Okay. I should, because I use it enough. I how crazy is this? Up until about 2 years ago, I couldn't even ring or text people because I had a pay-as-you-go phone. But what I would do is, because it was an iPhone, I'd go near like shops and like Starbucks with free Wi-Fi if I ever super needed to call or text someone. So I just tell people like, I'm gonna meet you here, ring me if anything goes wrong and stuff. I can't believe I used to do that actually, because you need it so much now. You know, being connected on the Wi-Fi. Can't believe I ever didn't have it. But having a contracts back in the day used to be so expensive. So Jordan saying Reagan had an ideology. Thought he just said whatever his corporate overlords put in his script. Yeah, like people say like Reagan's only ideology was basically being anti-communist. That was the only thing he ever was. That's the only thing he ever stood up for in his life. And then he got into the White House based on just that. And then all these people just manipulating him. But it's not a proper ideology though, I guess, is my main thing. Sorry, just checking my Patreon. But yeah, like Reagan, there's a really good video that Bobby Kennedy was talking about. I think was it when Reagan was running for governor in the 60s, and then Bobby Kennedy was saying like celebrity running for politics and just voting for them based on celebrity is like so damaging to all of us. Like it was pretty crazy how much he predicted it. WEP. Oh yeah, was WEP the old? What was WEP? The old Wi-Fi WEP key. I remember that for the DS. WEP keys. So I don't know if that was different. Were you a hacker though, Jeremy? Do you watch Mr. Robot? If you're a hacker, you should. But yeah, Trump and Iran. Like the funny thing with Trump is that it's all about popularity and stuff, isn't it? So it's crazy to me. Crazy to me how. Sorry, why is it Yoshi? Crazy to me. Sorry, how he would actually go into Iran and stuff. Because if he wants to stay popular, he must know the people fighting that war are going to be. There's going to be a big correlation with his supporters. So him fighting that is only going to backfire. But yeah, he's so crazy. Like he's literal one of the biggest narcissists in the world. He actually thinks he's the best at everything. Can you imagine like Trump? Can you imagine thinking you're like the best? Like he actually thinks that no matter what it is, I'm the best. I'm the best. I can't even like understand it. Well, it's obviously like a mental disorder. I was also reading a lot about his housing discrimination that he used to do back in the day with his dad. not allowing black people in his apartments, trying to kick them all out. So reading the comments. So Jeremy saying, "Wep super vulnerable. I did infect someone with a Trojan horse one time, but if you were 12, the guy didn't appreciate all the websites I popped on his PC." The old days. So Phil's saying you can hack anything pretty much now. There are plenty of programs out there that you do it. Things like YouTube and Facebook notifies the owner quick though. Yeah, it's always weird to me that like Instagram's accounts get hacked and everything. It's quite funny though. Trump's family is connected to the KKK. Yeah, I think I read that article. Trump's dad was like at a KKK rally and stuff. Ain't really surprising. I bet Trump is like, literally like in private, like Michael Cohen said, so fucking racist. I bet he is though. Hi Olivia, thanks for saying that. So thanks for joining the chat as well. It's been a long road to 6K. It's been 2 years in the making. I want 10K so bad. Like, it just looks so legit, 10K. Because 5K is like good and stuff, but 10K just looks so good. Like 20K, that'd be the dream. We'll see. It's just like I need a viral video. I need something big. I need like that Jose guy who had that video about the Connors, and he went from 2K to like 20K in like a month. I need something like that. But it's so hard. Like sometimes you make a video and you're like, this is gonna be the one. It's gonna blow up. Loads of people are gonna like this one. Well, I got one tomorrow, which is pretty good, about Elon Musk and about this weird. There's like weird like communities about Tesla on Twitter. Like they're like obsessed with Tesla cars, and it's really strange. And they worship Elon Musk. So that's quite a good one. And I got a good thumbnail and everything. But you just never know. Like that Bernie Sanders one, I just made like the top of my head, just did it. So this is my thumbnail for tomorrow's video. I thought it was pretty good. I made it. Oh, look at that. It's just like the Tesla symbol is like the sign. It's crucifix. I thought it was pretty clever. So Kennedy saying there's an episode of a show from the 50s where Fred Trump leads a racist political rally. It's actually Fred Trump in the video. That's crazy though. Imagine if like Bill Clinton's dad had done that or something, or Hillary Clinton's dad. Yeah, it should be good. Like it's nothing amazing. It's just me going through like Twitter and stuff, but it is kind of funny. Like I can't believe the bootlicking of people worshipping a guy who exploits his work. Like, because Musk is like documented to exploit his workers, like threatening Tesla workers on Twitter and everything. Al Gore's father was a Dixiecrat. Oh, that's interesting. Al Gore obviously isn't. Do they have anything for medical marijuana in the UK? I'm assuming no. They do. Not that you can buy it in shops. You get prescribed it. But what we were talking about this on another stream. What's the addictive stuff? THC or some shit. Wait, type it in quick. I do think you can get medical, but it has to be a certain condition. I think because I think someone I know got it imported from Holland, which a lot of people do. You can't get it over the counter. THC, is that it? Oh, is the psychological addictive part. Let's have a look. So I remember we were talking about it before. Elon Musk is like Lex Luthor. Evil. Habit forming. Okay, yeah, I'm never going to take... I'm never going to do marijuana anyway, but... Alright, so has the UK really legalised medical cannabis? That was certainly how it was reported last winter when Sajid Javid, the Home Secretary, overhauled government policy to give the UK more access to cannabis-based medicines. But now a group that lobby for the changes say the new scheme is a disappointment, benefiting only a tiny number of patients. So I guess we do have it to some extent. The thing with weed here is like the laws are pretty strong, but it's not really enforced properly. Like you're never getting the cops hauling you off for having like a joint or something. Charles saying, do I ever think there'll be a war like World War One or Two again? No. Well, World War Three, unless something happens with an agreement not to use nuclear weapons, which I can't really see, it seems pretty impossible. It may just be proxy wars, and as we get into the digital age, more like cyber wars and stuff, I think. So I joke that Jeffree Star is the Elon Musk of YouTube. Jeffree Star's probably a bit worse in his personality, but Elon Musk is obviously a worse person. So Jeremy Gunn, I have medical marijuana card for PTSD, ADHD, bipolar and anxiety. Honestly, a godsend since another medicine I prescribe that works. Yeah, that sucks that you have all that stuff, but it's crazy. The medicinal properties of marijuana are so well documented and so much better for you. Like I remember in the Vietnam War, like these scientists literally said, don't give the soldiers alcohol because it's going to make them so like violent and angry, and it will just exacerbate the problems they're having. Give them marijuana to make them relaxed and like not have all these negative effects like hangovers, so they'll be fresh in the morning and stuff. And they wouldn't do it because it's crazy the power of the lobbies against marijuana. And wasn't someone telling me last time? Someone else told me this as well, that the reason marijuana is so demonized is because they tied it to black people to bust them for stuff, to find something to bust black people for. I think someone was telling me that last time, and that's why it's so demonized in America. So Will Winstanley saying, Theresa May's husband is massively invested in medical cannabis. Oh, interesting. He's also invested in loads of arms stuff. He made money off the Syria airstrikes and stuff. That's the corruption in the UK. Like I've talked about this before. Like in America, it's open corruption. In the UK, it's like private corruption. So Kenny's saying, my brother is already a felon, and he was arrested again recently for dealing, and only got probation. But there are black people in my state who got busted for less and ended up in jail. That's crazy. Do you like your brother? If he's a felon. Is he dealing marijuana though? But yeah, it's crazy how many black people. Like, in fact, that's Joe Biden did that. The reason you go to life for marijuana dealing is Joe Biden. So Jeremy Gunn saying, I became addicted to Adderall for a while. I was prescribed it. That's crazy. The strength of the drugs they prescribe you in America. Like I was watching the Tulsi Gabbard Joe Rogan. They were talking about it. What is it? Is it Oxycontin or something? Is that what it's called? It's like more addictive than heroin or something. What's Article 17, Doug? Yeah, I'm glad we understand PTSD better. I was reading something interesting. I think it's when Jimmy Carter was president. They were trying to. It was when they were trying to come up of the real name for PTSD and stuff, because they just started diagnosing it for the first time properly. You love your brother, and he got busted for dealing marijuana. Yeah, that sucks, isn't it? Like it's legal in parts of the country, but you can go to prison for dealing it. Jesse Owens said President Roosevelt, not Hitler, snubbed him. Jesse Owens is the guy from the Olympics in Germany, isn't he? Who won that race? 1936. Pretty crazy. Everyone, while I'm reading about this Jesse Owens thing, what's everyone's opinions on napping? I have a really unhealthy relationship with sleeping, because I feel tired now to an extent, but like I think if I go to bed, I'll wake up in 3 hours wide awake. But I do like napping. But then sometimes it's like you can be super tired and you'll wake up, because it's like there's nap levels of tired and like sleep levels of tired. And sometimes if I don't know, don't get to sleep enough. But Jeremy Gunn saying Oxycontin, another name for Percocet or coquette, I don't know. Fentanyl is the one that is 10 times the strength of heroin and is a painkiller used when you're going on surgery. It's like Andrew Yang was saying this as well on Joe Rogan. It's interesting and bad that there's such an incentive for doctors to give you these fucking drugs. It's crazy. How do you need something that strong? Just have some ibuprofen. Or going for chemotherapy. I can understand the chemotherapy one, because chemotherapy is awful, isn't it? So can I see you saying laying on the floor and sleep makes everything better? Percocet. Okay, Percocet, sorry. Well, I butchered that. Yeah, napping is is the best, but I had an unhealthy relationship with sleep in general. My sleeping schedule is so fucked. Doug saying, how do you feel about this throwing milkshakes at members of UKIP thing going on? Yeah, I talked about this earlier, and some other people joined in. I think it's a good thing overall because obviously violence gets people in trouble, and people even get in trouble on the milkshake things. But it's a good way to show them their speech isn't acceptable, and at the same time, it's a general part of public discourse in a lot of places. Like egging people has always been a thing, hasn't it? So I generally think it's a good thing. UKIP is scum, so the Brexit Party, and Tommy Robinson as well. So yeah, milkshake him. If I got milkshaked as a politician, I would just accept it. And like I was saying, Ed Miliband, who was the Labour leader for a while, got egged a couple of times, and he took it well. So, saying I think it's about marijuana. Started much earlier than the modern era. Was not illegal to use, but you couldn't buy it without the government tax stamps, which were never printed. So purchasing marijuana by colours was illegal. Oh, okay. Interesting. But you can imagine Latinos and black people have always been busted for marijuana, and white people probably always got away with it. So Phil saying, fentanyl is what a friend from here is now. He's living in the US. He's hooked on it. They just give it out willy nilly, and he only has a back problem. In the UK, you get paracetamol. Yeah, in the UK, paracetamol and ibuprofen. Fuck's sake, fentanyl. Like, that's so mental. Like all the people who die and get addicted just because the pharmaceutical industry like poison America. Man, America, like, I can't even get my head around it. It's so fucked. Like, you can watch Blade Runner, which is set in 2019, and think, oh yeah, this is crazy. Like, it's so futuristic. We're not there yet, but like America is like a different version of that. Like, its problems might not be like blackout skies because of pollution or like androids and stuff, but a lot of the messages in Blade Runner, in terms of like corporations just owning everything and climate change and stuff, is pretty accurate. I need to make a video on it in general, I think. Kennedy's saying if I got milkshake, I'd just get a spoon, free ice cream. I would be pretty pissed, not gonna lie, if I got milkshake on me, but I wouldn't go start punching someone like fucking Tommy Robinson did. Sorry, I'm just changing this. So, Joel saying FDR invited all the white athletes from the White House for congratulation, and none of the black athletes. Hitler had more respect for black athletes. I wouldn't say Hitler had respect for black athletes. I'd just say they're both pretty racist. Jordan, yeah, I'll probably be done when you come back, but cheers for tuning in. Cheers for the questions and support and everything. Appreciate it. Have a good shop. Kennedy saying nurses have literally overdosed and died in my city just from touching fentanyl without gloves on. What? That is so crazy. It's crazy strong. Is it in a capsule or like what? How do you take it? Is it injected or a tablet or something? It's so hot in the UK at the moment. So, Will Winstanley says, napping for 20-minute power naps is good. Just sleep at night or get blackout curtains. You need to be away from the light and electro field. Turn off your phone and Wi-Fi if you can. Yeah, that is something I need to do. I need to stop going on my phone when I wake up. Sometimes I check my phone and I go on it quite a lot. So I need to do that a bit better. I have blackout curtains, but it's just been so... My room is so hot. I'm on the 3rd floor. I have an aircon at the moment, but I don't know. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. I need a blanket on me to sleep. And then I need air conditioning as well. Yeah, but Joe, I don't think that means Hitler respected black people more than FDR. I think they're both pretty racist, but Hitler is an extremist, isn't he? So Kennedy's saying, I think they touch a powder form of it. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably. I guess it's not touching the tablet. So Phil saying, mate in the US is on fentanyl patches like we have smoking patches. Crazy. So crazy. Wear damp socks to keep cool, but they'll eventually dry because it's so hot. And I don't want to get trench foot. Jeremy Gunn saying, some security guards at gas stations, petrol station, for us, tried to recruit me for the US Army. Not only did I say no, I told him it was against wars that we're in. He denied they exist. Well, the US isn't like, it's not like a fight in wars in terms of like loads of conventional wars, but it is like in so many different countries fighting militants and shit, just because it's not covered in the news as much, like Niger, is it Somalia? Where else is it? Syria, Iraq, loads of places. Afghanistan. Fuck the army, man. Like I respect like you need some sort of military to defend yourself. I do not like understand why the US needs such a bloated military, budget. And I don't respect people going to the fucking army. I think you're a fucking idiot if you go in the army. Like if everyone had a defense force, I'd appreciate it a lot more. Not a fucking imperialist army that the only wars it ever fights is to invade other countries that have never done anything to you. Yeah, my mate was in the army. He's moved away now, but I need to do those videos with him. Just get an interesting look at the British army. But yeah, you obviously get brainwashed in the army. And obviously it's the systems is one thing is why America doesn't want to reform the system is because the system drives people into the army because that's the only place you can get a lot of the benefits you would get in another country. So AH saying just keep your feet from under the covers or out from. But if you sit your feet out, the demons will get them. Yeah, most people join the army because they have no prospects. Exactly. So Jeremiah saying U.S. Marine Corps and Army here. Are you currently in the Marine Corps or Army? Men should have bigger ambitions. Well, just reading. Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple. Did you fight in Iraq and Afghan, Jeremiah? Here, I'm gonna read some. I'm gonna read some. Got out in 2015. Did you fight? Did you fight in any of the wars? Black people are, yeah, overrepresented in the military. Yeah, exactly. Because obviously, that in Vietnam, more black people died, and obviously minorities make up a lot of the armed forces because they're so impoverished by design. I'd say a lot of times. What was it like, Jeremiah? If you don't mind talking about it, got out in 2013. So 15. The army said, "How has serving impacted you?" So someone said, "My friend has PTSD and can't work and is now a communist." There's loads of stuff like this. And then this person said, debilitating alcoholism. Someone else says, smoking addiction, alcoholism, hearing damage, fractured rib, bad knees, PTSD, I hate crowds. Someone else said, chronic debilitating nerve pain, tinnitus, failing hearing, deep distrust of men in authority, but I get a free till Starbucks in November every year. I've had the same, and someone else says, I had the same nightmare almost every night for the past 15 years. Someone else said, I'm filled with rage at all times. I drink too much, and if I ran into Dick Cheney on the street, I would end up in prison. So let's have a. One of my friends got PTSD and killed himself just before Christmas 2 years ago. Huey turbine engines destroyed my hearing. I'm physically and mentally wrecked in what should be the prime of my life, and endless bureaucracy doesn't everything dampen me moving on. Someone else wrote, I've been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. I'm also obsessed with cleaning. I hate crowds. The 4th of July is a nightmare. Isn't this crazy that just the way, send them on these imperialist wars and this sort of shit happens. So someone else wrote, my father was a Vietnam vet, almost deaf from the Huey turbines, has had skin cancer 5 times from Agent Orange, has PTSD, trouble maintaining relationships, and can't sleep for more than 4 hours before he wakes up yelling the military ruined his life. Like, why the fuck would you want to join, man? So Jeremiah's been to Iraq twice. I was a commuter guy in an infantry unit. What was it like over there? What years were you in there, Jeremiah? If you don't mind talking about it. Politicians don't send their kids. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jeremiah, I have PTSD and I'm a socialist and I oppose everything we're doing overseas. That sucks, man. 1999 to 2015. Shit, you were in for a long time. Did you invade Afghan and Iraq, or did you just part of the occupation? Big ambition. Crazy, man. I was born in 1998. Yeah, I was born in 95. Socialism is cool. Communists are cool because they fight wars against super powerful enemies and win. So Jeremiah saying, seeing the US reaction to 9/11 has been a nightmare. Yeah, 95 gang. 95 is better than everything else. Right in the middle. and we're not old enough to remember Bill Clinton, but we do remember 9/11. But yeah, Iraq is such a disaster. I even hate reading about it because it's just I can't believe it even happened. And if if Iran happens, I don't even know. That's gonna be the fucking shittest thing ever. I can't even imagine what I'd do. I'd be so angry about it. Bush and Cheney. My first memory was Bush. I'm pretty aligned with Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk. Yeah, that's good. He's a good guy. I appreciate that someone would like him. I don't know. I need to watch more progressive media. I only really watch Jimmy Dore and Young Turks, to be honest. AH, not old enough to remember Clinton. Yeah, Clinton was, well, he was president when I was like 5 or something. Kalinski's okay, but if he refuses to read left theory and still scoffs at it, it's stupid. I don't understand how you can be a political commentator without reading political theory, to be honest. It's so important, and it literally fucking blows your mind when you read it. Fuck's sake. So I'm just looking something up. He says Noam Chomsky is over his head. Noam Chomsky is not even hard to understand, man. He just speaks the truth. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that deep. Like, the general stuff he says is pretty decent, isn't it? Sam Seed is the best social democrat in the game. Yeah, I don't really watch him too much. I should watch him a bit more, to be honest. Alright, I've been streaming for about 2 hours, so I'm going to wrap this up, I think. So if anyone has any questions, get them in quick. So, Jeremiah saying, KBR and other companies have raped the US. If we stopped bullshit overseas wars, we could afford so much more. Yeah, exactly, man. I've been saying this on the stream and stuff. Like, how are conservatives, outraged by taxes for all this crap, and at the same time, they will give Trump 700 billion for war. Even Democrats do it as well. It's a fix, isn't it? Like, they all do the same crap, really. When we accept fan mail, lol. Not fan mail. If anyone ever wants to email me, it's in my description. If you want to email me about something, it's that. If you want to talk about anything specific. Yeah, Kennedy, I have you on. Oh yeah, Kennedy, what happened to your Twitter? Why did you get a new one? But yeah, if you text me the time, I'll make sure to tune in. I always forget to join the live stream. Sometimes I watch Jimmy Dore one. Disraeli was your favourite Prime Minister. Why was your favourite Prime Minister? Because he was a massive opportunist. Disraeli was alright. Queen Victoria loved Disraeli. Yeah, that happened to me once, Kennedy. My Twitter got deleted once as well, one of my old ones. But now I'm worried I've said something bad on it, because it's like my old Twitter from when I was like 16 to 20. And I can't delete it because I can't get into it. It's there still. So AH saying good night. Or hope to see you again soon. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for the comments and everything. I appreciate it. I'm hoping to get back into streaming every Sunday. I know I've done Saturday today, but I hope I can get back to my old schedule of every Sunday. Last week, I didn't do it because that James Charles video was doing well, and I was asking my brother about it, saying if I live stream, is it going to cut off the views? Like, is it going to stop promoting it? And he said it might, so I didn't want to risk it because it was doing well. So Kenny saying I had Twitter deleted in November, again in February, and then again in this month. Oh shit. Yeah, it is annoying. Like I've got loads of timeouts, and I'm just like crap. I don't use my personal Twitter anymore though. I just tweet because obviously lots of my friends and stuff don't want to hear me talk about politics all the time. So I just say that for some funny shit, and then at the moment, well, it's good now. I actually have more followers than I'm following once in my life. 297 followers. Because how did I get all these followers again? I forgot. Someone shouted me out, I think. Who was it? Crap. I forgot who it was. Someone shouted me out and I got loads of new followers. Oh, what's his name? Peter Coffin. He shouted my video out. That's how I got loads of new followers. That was pretty cool, actually. I didn't really know who he was, but I'd seen him on Twitter a couple of times. So Rainstorm says, can react to my bedtime though, working 4 hours. Oh man, go to bed. Don't be watching my my stream. I don't have to get up. So I got no. Well, actually, it's fucking Sunday tomorrow anyway. Yeah, I didn't really watch Peter Coffin, but now I'm subscribed to him because he shouted me out, so I got to. Kennedy, you got a lot of followers today because you posted a video of yourself playing the kazoo. What's your name again? It's like shit. It's some long name, isn't it? Like the I don't remember what it is actually. Well, the odds of a general election late 2019. Hell Duchess. Yeah. What was your old one? It was like a different one. Oh shit! It blew up. You got 143 likes now. That's pretty cool. Nearly 2,000 views. Sorry. Joel must be a kid that knows nothing about politics or something in the wrong general election. I think he's talking about the UK general election, Jeremy. Late 2019. Well, Boris Johnson's going to probably become the new prime minister. I don't know. I think the Tories are scared they'll lose if they have another general election. So I'm not too sure if it will happen because Jeremy Corbyn could legit get in. Oh, your old Twitter was hell stands for Ilhan Omar. Yeah, we'll see because yeah, I'd love a general election, but at the same time, Tories ain't going to risk it again. Like Theresa May called that one and then she lost. Well, she didn't lose, the government, but she lost the majority. So we'll see. But hopefully at some point, I'd like a new one. Hard Brexit wouldn't pass. It depends if they vote for a hard Brexit to be on the table, which would be the bad thing. But we'll see. I don't know enough about UK politics. Yeah, I don't think a lot of Americans know too much about UK politics. That's how Trump thinks. He knows stuff about Brexit. To be honest, the difference is American politics affects everyone. UK politics doesn't. So I don't know why Americans would really have to care about UK politics. Like I talked about this before, but I couldn't believe Jimmy Dore didn't know the difference between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. He didn't know they were two different countries. Crazy. How do you not know that? Bill Clinton was actually instrumental in solving the troubles. Kennedy hates Jimmy Dore. Fake it till you make it with a lot of these people. You could expose a lot of these. I honestly think you could expose a lot of political commentators on the left and right because no one ever you never ask people basic questions. Like you never get up a map and be like, tell me where this is on the map. But I think you'd be surprised at how bad a lot of people, even famous political commentators, general knowledge is. Because a lot of very smart people don't have great general knowledge. What are the UK's top 3 issues, in my opinion? Oh, that's a hard one. Brexit really dominates everything. NHS, more fund. Oh, knife crime but more like police cuts for by the Tories because the police are really shit at the moment because we've just been constantly cutting their budgets. NHS in a similar state, and the EU stuff. Like a lot of the workers come from the EU, so need to focus on both of them things. But obviously, I don't trust the fucking Tories to do anything good about both of them. So we'll have to see, but I'm not optimistic. So Will Winstanley said Boris could get damaged with the GCHQ spine and Trump working with China. He was foreign secretary. Is this recent? I haven't really heard about this. If you have a link, that'd be helpful. So Kennedy saying, seriously, Sam Cedar is like the only popular commentator that can actually get down the nitty gritty of political processes. He debated Jimmy Dore before the 2016 election. Oh, what did that look like? That'd be interesting. Like, Jimmy Dore was debating. Yeah, I wanted to go on Jimmy Dore's show because he was debating the Rational National. People say on the English version of, because he's Canadian, and it was sort of like owning him, saying like, because he was saying like you got to vote against Trump no matter what, and Jimmy Dore was saying no, I don't. Like, and it's hypocritical of you telling me, for a guy who has all these things in Canada, like a parliamentary system and national health service and stuff, that I have to vote for someone who doesn't want that, like Joe Biden or something. I wanted to, I want to go on, get me on the show. I've tweeted them before, but like, all those people seem to ignore me, like Young Turks people. I used to tweet Jimmy sometimes. He used to tweet back a couple of years ago, but now he's too famous for me. So Zephyr saying, I would trade what you've got with the UK police in a heartbeat. Yeah, sure. Like, the US police are some of the shit. Well, not in the world, but some of the shittest in the Western world. Like the institutional racism, like private prison industry plays a role. The I can't say it, politicization of the police in America, or it's always been political. It's pretty crazy. Like these police unions who are like rebelling against always having cameras, and conveniently they always turn their fucking cameras off as well. So Jeremy saying, I don't really care for Jimmy Dore, but I think he made the right choice by resigning from 2IT. I don't know if it had anything to do with contrast to 2IT. I didn't really like him. Maybe, but they seem to be leaving on good terms. Jank had a lot of good things to say about him when he left. I've always liked him. I find him funny, especially his prank calls. His recent Obama one was really good again. Doug, who is Styx Hexenhammer? What the fuck's that? Sounds like some like anime character or something. Let me type it in. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, he's a YouTuber. Is he a big YouTuber? Oh, what? 300,000 subs. What does he do? He looks like a... Is he British? Look. Oh, did everyone see the Krasenstein brothers got banned from Twitter? That is so fucking funny. That Eugene MD guy's got to be next. I tweeted that today. He tweets, how you cannot be a surgeon and tweet the first tweet after Trump every single time. It's this guy. So, the Krasensteins used to tweet after Trump every single time. Oh, Trump deleted his tweet. So this guy, it's backwards obviously because I'm putting in a thing. Eugene something MD. Apparently he's a surgeon scientist. Everything he tweets is just a reply to Donald Trump straight away. Every single time. He doesn't tweet anything else apart from Donald Trump. And there's a video of the Krasenstein saying they're paid to do it, to make all the replies under Trump's thing be against him, which is crazy. So, Destiny is a weirdo who low-key hates women. He reminds me of Ben Shapiro. I don't really follow Destiny. He's the one who hosts those weird chat things, isn't he? I've never been a fan. Zephyr saying he won't vote for Joe Biden. Don't blame you. I wouldn't if I was you either. Wooligan saying, hey Cab, I can't really hang out, but I noticed the stream, wanted to say congrats. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. I've noticed that you've consistently commented and stuff. So I appreciate it, even if you can't stay. The stream's ending in a bit anyway, so don't worry about it. So Jose saying, damn, so for healthcare, Tories want... They don't want exactly what the US has, but Nigel Farage wants it. He's been an advocate for it. So, yeah, it's going in that direction if they keep doing what they're doing. So hopefully there is an election soon. So Kenny's saying I probably won't vote for Biden, but literally any other candidate would be all right. Candidate would be all right. Biden, Pete, Beto. I love how much Beto's campaign has flopped. I said on an interview with Real Progressives 2 months ago that I think Beto is going to drop out before Andrew Yang. I want to be proven right. He's American. Oh, okay. I should look up Michael Brooks' Obama impression. Does he do impressions as well? US police are more worshipped than politicised. Yeah, they are. That's true. Back the blue. Blue lives matter. I'm watching for 2 hours when I'm supposed to be watching these kids. Whose kids are you meant to be watching? Your own kids, or are you babysitting? Hooligan saying Biden is a horrible idea. I really hope people start realizing how problematic he is, and the poll numbers fall. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how much support he has, considering he's such an awful politician. And yeah, like you're saying, Hooligan, his previous attempts of being president have flopped, haven't they? So you're babysitting. Oh, okay. Make the kids watch me. Yeah, Kennedy, tag me on it on Twitter if you've got it. Um, all right, final questions. Let's probably go soon. But yeah, any last topics we want to talk about? I'm open to anything. But yeah, it's been a. Oh, so Jose asked, "What's the next theme of my Biden series of videos?" So I've got foreign policy, and it's mainly focused on the Iraq War and his support for Israel, because people were saying, I think Chuck Schumer said he's the most pro-Israeli politician, or he was in the Senate. So Jeremy saying, how many questions do I start answering any questions? Well, if anyone doesn't have it, if the conversation kind of dies, I'll end it. But I'm taking the last couple. What do you reckon happened to Antifa K? What's Antifa K? Zephan saying, any UK politics videos coming up soon? Zephan, are you from the UK, or you just asked me that? UK politics. Well, I had the one yesterday on Theresa May. UK politics. I don't know. It bores me. What do you reckon happened to Antifa? What do you mean happened? Like, they become less prominent? There's been a lot of reporting on them this month, actually, for some reason. Keep this going for another hour. Child, I'm tired, man. I can't. If I was playing like Tetris on stream or something, maybe. I need a drink. I need to cool down. I'm so roasting. No, I live in the US. Oh, okay. British politics. I don't know. If anything comes up, if Boris Johnson becomes Prime Minister or something, I'll see. Yeah, Antifa is like a made up problem, isn't it? Like, it's not a serious one. It's the right like to paint it like Antifa are the real fascists. Wait, Jordan, are you playing your love games with me? What's your what's love games? I'm not playing any love games. There was more protests in Charlottesville. No, this is an old article, but why is it May 2019? Why are they controversial? Yeah, I know Mac, who normally tunes into the stream, hates Antifa. Do I love Jordan? No. Oh, this Jordan. Yeah. I love him. What are the odds of Jeremy Corbyn being PM? Well, at the moment, zero, because the Tories elect within themselves, but if it's a general election, there's a good chance. It depends. Labour are being a bunch of butthurts. Like, a lot of them aren't supporting him properly, which is pissing me off. Because of his stance on the EU, a lot of people don't like him. Because he hates the EU, but he's always hated it. Because socialists actually hate the EU because they see it as like a trade union for like corporations and shit. But I don't know. I like him. Jordan saying, I want to know what to do because I need your love a lot. Just keep commenting and liking my videos, and then I'll love you forever. What's pissed me off about YouTube lately? You can only see your last 28 days of new subscribers. I want to see all my subscribers, and the list on the old Creator Studio won't update. So I have like someone called Kevin Logan subscribed to me, 12k subs, New Progressive Voice, 9k subs. But I want to see. I haven't been able to see my last 2 months of subscribers, which is fucking pissing me off. Thoughts on Tulsi Gabbard? Generally, I like her. and respect, like, she obviously resigned from, was it deputy chair of the DNC or something in 2016. But I don't know. I made a video on her appearance on Joe Rogan. Well, I'll link it here. But yeah, I don't like her as much as Bernie. And I don't know. She's interesting though. I like her a fair amount. Shit, no, this is not the right link. But you know, is that the video I'm talking about? Who's old Greg? What's that video? Sorry, one sec. So, Thingy asked, Jeremy asked, is it a bad thing that it's almost impossible for me not to talk about politics, literally everyone? Like, I'm always debating my dad when I'm there, and older tell me I'm too young to know. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes I can't be bothered though, do you know what I mean? Like, people are just too ignorant. Like, debating my parents about religion, for example, is so frustrating. I just can't be bothered. Because I know what the conversation's going to be like. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, it's pretty dismissive to say because you're young, you can't have an opinion, or your opinion's irrelevant. Yeah, so who's old Greg? So Charles says, why is South East England so conservative? Because it's mostly white, pretty much, and it's like quite isolated from diversity in cities and shit. It's like old fashioned. Southeast of South. So I went to Southampton last Friday in the New Forest, and there's a little village in the New Forest. New Forest is a big fucking forest, and then there's a little village there, and I said to my girlfriend, we're both walking through, I was like, it living here, you could just like turn off the whole world because literally like nothing really affects these people apart from like maybe food prices and stuff because they're so isolated from the rest of the country. It's like you can imagine why they don't change their beliefs or that nothing's challenged and stuff like that. Surrey and Hampshire, yeah, Hampshire is where I went to university. It's Southampton and New Forest. Shit, one sec. Yeah, Zephyr's saying it's good to spread ideas, but you should choose your battles. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people just don't want to hear it either. Like, a lot of people will not change their mind. You got to let people kind of do it on their own a lot of the time because nothing's ever going to change them. Like, it's hard. I'm trying to think, like, how could I change people I know? But you can't a lot of the time. Sometimes you can. Like, one of my friends, who's really smart, he went to Oxford, he went to Cambridge and stuff. We debated about the BBC, and I've kind of changed his mind on it because he was telling me like I'm a conspiracy theorist because I'm saying it's like it's not impartial because it hires loads of old school conservatives to run its politics coverage, and he was really disagreeing with me. But then we sort of come to an understanding that while the BBC is a good thing for trying to be impartial, it really isn't. So that was good in the end because it was a heated debate, and then eventually came to an understanding. It more slanted towards my point of view. So it can happen, but at the same time, a lot of people have entrenched views, don't they? It's hard to change people's opinions. So Wooligan saying parents and religion. My mum called me out of the blue to tell me she'd left the Mormon church for 30 years. That was several years ago. Oh, nice. Yeah, like that's kind of goes into what I'm saying. Like you just, as long as you sort of let people work it out for themselves, really. Jeremy said, I used to debate my boss when I worked in landscape and he'd always call me a commie. What I find useful in debating, well, I've read your other comment as well. Funny thing is, I got a new job, put in my notice, broke his $400 big blowout and stayed as I promised, and even paid him back in payments. Anyone else would have left him in the dust. You should have. Fuck conservatives. Yeah, Joel, that's not a good comparison. South East England isn't like the American South. It's not like that backwards. It's just conservative and traditional, but not like super crazy or anything. It's pretty standard. Sorry. the thing that I always think helps with debate. So I was debating with some fucking guy. I don't even know who he was. Who was talking about how great Tommy Robinson is and how Brexit, blah blah blah. And what is always good to diffuse to get people on your side, I find, is find a point you agree with, and then say why they're wrong. So something like, let's leave the EU, let's leave Brexit, and I would say something like, there are legitimate arguments for leaving the EU, such as this, and this, but to think that the Tory government at the moment is gonna do that is silly because they're never going to do that. Therefore, voting to leave the EU is only going to damage the UK. Something like that. You've got to spin it around because just flat out disagreeing with people sometimes just doesn't really work. You've got to kind of convince them they're right in some regard. Like I think you could maybe do that with some idiot Trump supporters for if they support him from anti-interventionism and shit like that. So Will Winstanley says you can't force a change, but you can look at their answers and find a point to both agree on. Move on from that success and say it was well. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just saying then. I agree. A real communist wouldn't be debating the boss. A real communist would be killing the boss. Yeah, but Joel, you can see how butthurt American conservatives got when Ben Shapiro was literally destroyed by someone who loves Margaret Thatcher. So there's no comparison between South East England and the Deep South. There's literally no comparison. So Jordan said, instead of debating them, tell them stories and history. It gives them seeds and context for left ideas. That's a good one, actually. So, for example, America inspiring the Nazis is a good one. Because it's like factual, even though they'll probably be outraged that you even suggested it. Something that challenges the mainstream narrative is always good. So Jeremy's saying $10 an hour is bullshit wages for landscaping, especially when he has a loophole that makes it to where he doesn't even have to pay overtime of any benefits. That's crazy, man. $10, that's fucking nothing. I used to make £9 working security, £9 an hour at a stadium. So, and that's just standing around. That wasn't even that bad. So Rudigan saying also appealing to their values is helpful. Like if you know they're patriotic, finding a way to connect your value to patriotism can help. Yeah, that's a good one as well. So Jordan likes to use the Great Depression and Labour movement. FDR is a pretty great example, I think, because you can't argue he was a good president, but his policies were done to help the country. And if they were done today, if there's someone like FDR today, it'd be like, oh, socialist, but at the same time, might be a good person to use. Why do British Conservatives seem more rational than Americans? Because British Conservatives pride themselves on being educated, so they pride themselves on being better than everyone. But they are educated at least. So they're not like insanely hysterical. They're also not insanely religious either. They're just traditional in their religion, but it's not crazy. So American conservatives, I think, actually do have some sort of ideology that they're following, rather than American conservatives just being insane nut jobs who are all selling out for money. Not saying there isn't that in the UK as well, it's just different. So Jose saying, can agnosticism be summarised as I don't know and I don't care to know about a higher power, while atheism is I won't acknowledge this? No, I think atheism is I don't believe in any religions and I believe there's no God. Whereas agnostics is like I don't really believe in religion, but I'm not certain there's a God. I think agnosticism's bullshit though. Just commit to being atheist. Realise there's nothing. Not really. Eisenhower was better than a lot of other Republicans, obviously. Well, it's more rational than it is today, but it still weren't great. It literally jumped off the deep end with Ronald Reagan. And now it's literally like a party of fucking conspiracy theorists and shit. Why is agnosticism a more scientific position than atheism? I don't believe that at all. Because when you look at the origins of religion, it's literally human-made. They're stories created by humans to explain stuff we now know as science. So why do the Greek gods and Roman gods and Egyptian gods, why do they control elements and stuff? Why do they control the sun? Or why do they control the ocean? It's because they needed to explain why these things existed. That's you don't need to go further than that. Like even if there was a god, for example, there's never been any contact with humans because humans just made up all this shit to justify what they couldn't explain. So the notion of God comes from humans. You know, humans created God in their own image by their writings and stuff. And think of all the different religions. Our understanding of one God comes from Judea, comes from the Jews, and it's spread through Christianity and Islam. But for some reason, we think that's the real one. But it's made up by humans because we see in other parts of the world, humans made up other religions. And a lot of them are similar because they all deal with the elements because we can't explain this. And then there's monkeys now. They've seen monkeys exhibit some signs of religious behaviour. And they're saying religion might be a natural part of human development because they're trying to explain things that they can't explain. But now we can explain it. So you don't even really need to get into. You just need to get into the history of the mainstream religions, rather than getting into the ideas of like the Big Bang and how the Earth was created. That's to me. That's not even. That can be relevant to discussion, but it's not even where you need to start. You just start with, you know, the Bible and the Torah, which is the first one. In terms of Abrahamic religion, is based on a bunch of myths, just like the Greek religions. The only difference is it's spread everywhere, and it simplified it in terms of having one God controlling everything instead of multiple gods. And most of the stories of the origins of that can be debunked. Most of it was written at least 1,000 years after it supposedly happened, even the stuff about Solomon and David. And just from that, you know that it's not true, and you don't need proof that there's no God. You know, the same way I'm saying now, if I said Yoda literally lives in my closet and talks to me about the nature of the universe, you don't need someone to prove he's not real. Do you know what I mean? So, pantheist, which is secular atheism, and the best. Atheism seems to be on my lane, but I prefer concrete objectivity. So Jeremy talking about Oklahoma has it where if a business makes less than $500,000 a year, it doesn't have to pay overtime benefits. A supervisor told me he makes $1 million a year, but breaks it up. Shit. It's so crony, isn't it? Kennedy saying there's some sort of divinity in how perfectly people have evolved. It doesn't have to seem to come from a god. Yeah, it's true, but I think it's like religion. There's so many different species of humans, and we're the ones that won because we were smarter, and in the end of the day, and we could throw stuff is another part of it. Sorry, just getting the comments. Yeah, but I can't disprove the concept of the creator of the universe, but the concept of the creator of the universe is man-made, and it's on the people who claim there's a creator of the universe to prove it. It's not on me to prove it doesn't exist. That's not the way it works. If Christians and Jews are claiming there's a God, and you can easily debunk their religious texts in terms of historical accuracy or scientific accuracy, and then they can't prove to you in any shape or form that a God exists, that's proof that God doesn't exist, because it's not on me to be like, God doesn't exist, I've proved it. I think it's a bullshit argument. It's like me saying X exists and me going to you, prove it doesn't exist, even though it obviously doesn't, but because you can't prove it doesn't exist definitively, it means, it's unprovable. I think it's not a good argument for me. So Jose saying, religion is unnecessary if one of the core reasons of existence to teach people good morals instead of humanity, learning and having more credit being given to them, or also learn for themselves. Well, religious morals comes from humans. It's not like divinely inspired morals. It's just certain religions from certain communities of humans develop these. Not killing. It doesn't take God to tell me killing is bad because you feel bad. People feel bad for killing people. You feel bad for ending someone else's life. It doesn't take God to tell you that. Yeah, but Jordan, what I'm saying is humans invented a creator of the universe, right? There's a creator of the universe who's like us. He created us in his image. That's what a lot of people think. Not that's definitely true. Why isn't the creator of the universe like some fox or something? Or why isn't it some giraffe? Why does it have to be human? The only difference is we're way more intelligent than all the other animals. So we're the people who think about this. Animals can't think about that. And we've made up in our head this thing to try and explain what we couldn't. And that's what humans do. And in terms of the monkey thing I was talking about, they've seen monkeys dancing when there's like lightning storms, and monkeys like privately, seemingly worshipping a tree stump. And they're saying these are monkeys worshipping nature in a sense, just like humans eventually would develop, like the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians, to worshipping gods of nature. And they're saying like the Abrahamic God is just a God who embodies all of it. And you write stories about gods and people invent gods, and that influences your whole notion of the creator of the universe. You know, if we didn't have gods, no one would think about it. If no one had invented gods, people wouldn't really ask these questions. Is there a creator of the universe like me? Is there someone like in Greece? What is it? It's what are they called? Those things that created the universe. Prometheans, I think. And then obviously in Abrahamic religion, it's one God who created the universe, one God who's meant to be just like us. So you know, saying whatever religion it is, saying this thing created the universe, but I have no proof of that in any way. So if I'm saying Prometheans created the universe, no proof of that. If I'm saying a God created the universe, you know, a God who I've described everything about in this book that has been written by multiple people over thousands of years, because that forms your understanding of God, even though you might think it doesn't. You've grown up, probably, I don't know where you're from, Jordan, I'd imagine it's America. You've grown up in a country and in a society that generally thinks that. And even if you try and break away from the religion, you're still influenced by the notion that there's a God, like a human, who created the universe. When I just reject that completely, because humans invented that. It's not like, you know, why does it have to be like a creator? Why does that even have to be a thing? Do you know what I mean? And I don't think, because I can't prove it. I can't go up to, you know, go back to the start of the universe and show you that there's not a creator. It doesn't mean it's on me to be like, there's no creator. I get you can understand you can't rule it out, but I think it's a weak argument when people have literally just conjured these figures and these peoples and stories out of thin air, essentially, to explain stuff I don't understand, and then you're saying to people who are like, that's obviously bullshit, well, please prove to me it's not, even though I have no evidence myself it happened, because I've said it, you've got to disprove it. I forgot what the argument, it's something, is it an argument from ignorance or something? Something like that. It's a technical term for it. It's like telling someone to disprove something you've just invented, essentially. Which I think religion is. It's like, prove to me some random, like, if I say now, I don't know, look, I don't know, prove to me this didn't create the universe, this little bottle here, or something more abstract. And then if you can't prove it, I'm like, well, obviously it did then, because I say it. Yeah, but you're talking specifically about a creator of the universe. Like a person or a being did it. A being like humans. And that's what I'm saying. It's still, even your thinking is still influenced by man-made religion. Because you're thinking something just like us, something sentient, created the universe. Why does it have to be sentient? Whatever created it. Why does it have to be alive? Why couldn't it be created by something else? Some sort of like energy or something? Because a creator implies... So people are coming. So Will Stanley said the human brain is a defensive imagination mechanism that works as fast as our reflex. It creates the ghosts in the shadows, but sometimes saves our lives. And then you said earlier, rats of morality, bigger mice placed nice and lose 30% of the time in play fights, like we learned at the playground. Well, that's interesting. And have I seen the magic mushrooms antidepressant experiment at John Hopkins? You dream you're a monkey in the tree away from the danger of the snakes. That's crazy. I really don't want to take drugs. Well, I don't get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say even though man-made religions are bullshit, because they're bullshit, it doesn't rule out there isn't a creator of the universe. And my answer to that is, unless you're saying, in my opinion, you're saying that the religions that talk about a creator of the universe have some sort of like merit in a way, because you can't disprove them. So you can't disprove God didn't create the universe. You can't disprove the Prometheans didn't create the universe, because you don't have proof that they didn't do it, even though there's no proof that they did do it. So I don't know if that's what you're on about. So Jeremy's saying, why talk about religion when there are cooler things to talk about, like 99% chance we live in a simulation? Yeah, that's interesting too. But at the end of the day, if it is a simulation, we're just going to wake up one day, whatever we are, imagining this, and it'll be all over. Be like fucking Westworld or something. Game of Thrones. I didn't watch that, but I'm kind of happy it I'm kind of happy it ended badly because people are overhyping it. It's the best thing ever. No way, man. Nothing with that much mass appeal can be the best thing ever. Nothing like that's popular. It's like Marvel. Like Marvel things are good, but they're not like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. Because it's just not. Because I think the best things ever are normally pretty divisive because it makes you react strongly in one way or another. Not just, oh, this is the best. Like let's all watch it and talk about it. And I don't know. It's hard for shows to end well because you have such expectations. I find. So Charles saying, seems to me British conservatives are mostly rich and educated. In America, conservatives are poorly educated, old white bigots. Yeah, definitely. There's a more, like I said, the elitism in England places a lot more on being educated. A lot of our prime ministers, I think it's most of them went to Eton. So the simulation theory speaks more to my point. Yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know. The simulation thing would be weird. I don't know if I really believe it. Of course, you can't. Again, just saying, to me, just throwing something random out based on our understanding of life now, and now we have simulations, which we didn't have like 100 years ago, and then sort of just trying to, I don't know, prove something really abstract without proof, but then telling people to disprove it, otherwise it could exist. I think it's just like everything can be a possibility. Anything I say can be true if you can't disprove it. It's like pretty an exhausting argument. I could say, you say there's a creator of the universe, or we live in a simulation, or we live in a video game, or this is all a dream and stuff. I mean, you can speculate and all that stuff, but I don't think it's always a great thing to argue about because going around in circles, really. So Jeremy's saying, what if life literally repeats itself from the beginning when you die? Yeah, I thought about that actually. It would be weird, wouldn't it? With alternate timeline, us creating alternate realities. Yeah, it's hard to imagine just not being alive, isn't it? Just like being asleep forever. I sometimes find it fucked up that like I'm like me. Like there's so many different people living life every day through someone else's eyes, and I'm out of everyone, I'm myself, and I find that so fucking strange. And I'm talking to all you guys, who are like the same. Like you're all looking through your eyes, but like the only one I'll ever be is like me, and I'll never know what it's like to be looked through at someone else. I just find it so strange. Out of like 7 billion people, I'm like sentient, and I'm this person. That just fucks me up when I think about stuff like that. And out of like I'm alive like right now, and there's so many people who've died and are not alive, and they'll never be alive again. I don't know, just so weird thing about stuff like that. So Jose saying Game of Thrones success came from George Martin, Song of Ice and Fire for seasons 1 to 4, and that's what no character made the show. No character is safe, hype mess. After seasons 5 to 8, the show creators were alone and the show bombed. Yeah, that's what everyone says, isn't it? They're crap writers, so they needed something to really help them through it. So Jeremy saying the only reason the argument works is because quantum mechanics, although largely misunderstood, shows that it's a real possibility because singularity AI is inevitable. But if it doesn't even exist yet, I don't know. Like, I guess it could be more plausible than religion, but I don't know. It still kind of feels like a similar argument to religion sometimes. So Will and Stanley say John Hopkins cured depression in cancer patients for 6 months to a year with great success. Many of them were cured with a long-term fear of return. Before the treatment, many were paralysed by fear. Is that recent? Charles saying, how do you explain the majority of white women voting for Trump? I don't think that would happen in England. Yeah, I guess it just goes to the brainwashing of American people in general, isn't it? Like conservatives, that they'll vote for someone like that who's obviously so sexist and stuff. But it's also a lot of Republican women think a woman's place is the home and stuff. They still have that old style view of women, so they have a more sexist view of women, even though they're women themselves. Yes, Kennedy's saying white women are trained to be handmaidens to white supremacists. Will when science said in the electric universe model you can reincarnate. Supposedly this is how the church can explain Jesus saying he's lived all our lives. I swear, man, like religion changes so much based on science. Like they're gonna jump around so much more. Like in the show Altered Carbon, it's funny to see people still being Catholic and trying to justify it, even though people can literally switch bodies. And it's the same now. It's like as religion progresses, it's like, oh yeah, the Pope speaks to God, hell's real, and poetry's real. And as you go on, it keeps getting less and less. I mean, it's like, oh, like God created the world in 7 days. Oh yeah, maybe he didn't actually, but literally we've believed that for 1,000 years, but now we don't. I thought you meant to know from that guy. I think it's just funny. I think it just shows how much bullshit it is, really. So Jeremy saying computer CPUs double in speed each time it's improved. Over a short period of time, it's increased dramatically from the 1990s. Keeping the same pattern means it's keep doubling speed. So we'll get there eventually, I guess, with the AI. All right, it's getting late now, so I think I'm going to call it an evening. 20 to 4 a.m. We streamed for ages. Jeremy, you should think about it for a YouTube video if you can simplify it. It sounds interesting, definitely. Like if we're living in a simulation, if you could set it out pretty clearly, definitely be something I'd be interested in watching. Yeah, now the Pope can choose to retire. Yeah, exactly. No, Joel, I can't stay any longer. I can feel it in my eyes. I'm going. I'm gone, fam. Yeah, so everyone, thanks a lot for tuning into the stream. Thanks for staying through the technical difficulties. New video about Elon Musk up tomorrow, about 8:30ish my time, so it might be early for Americans. Then next week, might have a video about that weird reforming preacher guy for Islam, who basically just agrees with everything Republicans say for some reason, because that's how you reform on Islam. And then I got one more maybe on that army tweet. I thought was quite funny. I might do one on that. Yeah, see you, Jeremy. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate the comments and everything. It was fun. Charles, I can't stream on Sunday. That's why I did it today. But I will resume streaming on Sunday next week. So try and get back to my old schedule. But yeah, cheers for everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone has a good weekend and a good week, and hopefully see you in the week on some of my videos and the stream next Sunday. So yeah, cheers, Will and Stanley. No problem. And yeah, okay, cheers, Kennedy. I'll check that out after the stream. And yeah, cheers. Everyone else have a good sleep. I don't know what time it is in America. It's probably some places getting to midnight soon. Sorry, Joel. Joel, go and watch some of my old videos for 30 minutes. That's how you can help me out. All right, everyone. Cheers for the stream. And yeah, thanks for all the great comments. See you next